I'm live. I need to know when I'm live. Am I live? Am I live? Am I live? Come on, tell me.
Not me.
Tell
Yes,
me if I'm
you
live.
are.
Awesome. Wonderful. Amazing. How is everyone? How are all? It doesn't actually tell me how many videos are in yet. It takes a while to update. Anyway, how's everybody doing? Cool. Welcome to the stream. We're doing stuff. We're doing a tier list. We're doing a comic book superhero tier list. And I have 12 characters on the tier list so far. And why are you chatting, Nano? You're in the Discord right now, like currently. What?
Bro, really.
Why are you
prefers to
muted?
tank.
Nano, what the hell? What's going on? All right, whatever. Okay, so we're doing a thing. At a cookout? Oh. Is this like a holiday weekend and I just forgot about it? Like, is there something happening this
I
weekend?
mean, I don't think so.
Cause
The UFC's on.
maybe I don't know. I don't know about that. I don't know. But no, because there's a lot of people like in my real life too that were not available this weekend. There's a chick that I'm seeing ended up going to like the beach of Florida or whatever with she had like a girls trip or something, and then there's like a bunch of like a lot of people were going places, and I'm just, and then I started the stream and usually there's like 15 people that drop in the moment I start the stream, not like on Discord, not on YouTube, and there's like a bunch of people that drop in. It was only a couple of people, and I'm like, wait, why is everyone busy this weekend? Like, what the hell's going on this weekend? I don't know. I'm not good at keeping up with dates and times. The UFC 319 Kamazat versus DDP.
Hamza Chimaev versus Dricus Duplessis.
Is MMA so popular that would like are the people who watch my channel so like big
The
on
UFC's
MMA?
always start at the same time you
dedica-
streamed.
Yeah, I would have assumed so. May not be able to speak, but I'll be Hex in spirit. Okay, thank you, Scrug. I mean, Scrug, we can always test your mic out. You just have to see if it, what's not working. Anyway. Oh, by the way, Scrug, I started playing Hellsinger. I have no idea how it's taking you 10 hours and you still haven't beaten that game, because I finished the first 2 levels in like a half an hour, and there's only 8 levels in the entire game. So I don't know what the hell is taking you so long to beat it, but it's a pretty easy game. It's pretty fun. I'm enjoying it, but it's super like easy. I don't know why it's taking you so long. Or why you didn't know so much about the game, because like literally right out the bat they reveal a bunch of stuff about the world and stuff in the little cutscenes, opening cutscene things, and they say all kinds of stuff from like hell falling apart and I mean the chick is literally like I had to tell you about the end of the game when we were having that conversation about how strong the character was, and I had to look up on Google and tell you, who told me he was 70% of the way through the game, that the chick like her voice can destroy barriers between dimensions, but she does that in the first level of the game. Like, it literally says she goes from one circle of hell to the next circle of hell via her voice. That's how she does it. She has to break through those universal barriers and continue up, and it shows her like scream at the sky, and there's like a crack in reality. So I don't know how the hell you missed that. Like, yeah, that wasn't even much of a spoiler. They reveal that at the very start of the game. Anyway, this isn't about Hellsinger. Anyway, so I have 12 characters here. I tried to get a nice little combination of different comic book superheroes. So I actually only have 2 Marvel characters and 2 DC characters. The rest of them are all non-Marvel and DC. I usually like to have 15. I meant to only get 10 and then let you guys pick the last 5. I accidentally picked 12, so you guys can pick the last 3. So what 3 characters would you guys like to add to the list? Because we usually start this when we get to 15. And
Spider-Man is already on there.
Spider-Man is already on there, yes. We got Invincible, Superman, Hellboy, Judge Dredd, Spawn, The Darkness, Hulk, I think that's Batman, Witchblade, Spider-Man, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and Exo Man of War. So we got 3 more. I guess at this point it really depends. If you guys want to do non-Marvel and DC specifically, since we already have 2 and 2, we can. But honestly, if you want to do Marvel and DC, it's fine. You can do Marvel and DC. Deadpool's a strange pick, because we only have Spider-Man and Hulk. I would expect something like a Wolverine or a Captain America. What's up?
We could probably add like one female from each from Marvel and DC.
Power Girl.
That's
This
actually
was
true.
about
I don't think I have any females on this list. No, I have one female. I have
Supergirl.
one female on this list. So,
Yeah.
I was considering Wolverine. Dog? Is that Dog Nigga? What's Dog Nigga?
Oh my
I don't know who that is. Wonder
Neither do I.
Woman. Yeah, well,
I
I
think
mean,
they're talking about some anime thing.
I don't know who that is.
I think
Oh, no.
Supergirl's a better pick than Wonder Woman for DC.
Yeah, but we already have Superman. So it's one thing to have a bunch of Marvel and DC characters. It's another thing to have two superheroes from literally the same comic. You know what I mean? It would be like if we did
They're very
Cyclops and
different
Wolverine.
characters.
They are, but they're still they're in the same. They're part of each other's stories. If you're trying to get more varied, more varied, it would be better to like pick different parts of the universe that you're doing. Hunk. Let me see. Luther Strode. I don't know anything about Luther Strode. That's my
I've
thing.
never heard of him.
Captain Underpants is not a comic book character. He's a kid's book, kind of like Goosebumps.
Blade? Blade's a good option.
Blade's not terrible either. Let me see. Yeah, like I said last time, when I was in debate, I was unprepared as hell and drunk. Absolutely abysmal performance on my side. Next time will be different. Promise. Okay. I'm making spaghetti. Radiant Black. I don't know who Radiant Black is. I don't know who Hunk is either. We will.
Is that the Resident Evil character?
That there is a Resident Evil. It's not a character. It's a type. It's a soldier. They're called Hunk. It's not one dude, but yeah, you could play with them in Resident Evil 4 in the Mercenaries mode.
Wait, it's not. I thought it was one dude.
I don't think it's one dude. I think they're all called Hunk. Like Hunk stands for something. It's like it's all capital, and it's like HUNK.
Someone told me it's like just one dude, and he's like the best soldier ever.
It might be, but I think Hunk is not a name. It's a not an anagram. What do you call it when each letter stands for a different word? I don't know. I don't know. Like, I'll put Wonder Woman. I'll put Wonder Woman since she's here. And then we'll do Wonder Woman. Wonder Woman, she's our hero.
Jim's finally here.
What's up?
Jim's finally here.
Jimothy. What are you doing?
Yeah, it's like there's just like a lot of people in the audience.
Is there? Oh, hold up.
Like 3.
Oh, I'm sorry, guys. Okay, invite you.
4 now.
Invite you. Okay, invite Seal. Just screw it. Let everybody up. Jim, stop. What? I don't even have to invite Jim up. Jim, you're a mod. You can just come up. I don't even know why you're waiting down there.
I wasn't waiting. I was just listening because I was gonna go do something in like 5 minutes. I was just sitting here.
Okay, well then get out there.
Maybe
nobody wants you here anyway.
Maybe he wanted to feel
I'm gonna
invited.
make my own tier list with blackjack and hookers.
Okay. Good luck. Have fun. All right. Let me see. Okay, we got Wonder Woman. Let me see who else. We need 2 more. Like a Wolverine.
Homelander.
Does the Boys verse have any heroes, like actual heroes? Starlight.
Starlight.
That's about it. And she's not even really a hero in the comics. She's just a victim. Like she doesn't do anything.
Yeah.
She just gets her ass
Can
handed
we
to
recommend
her.
Luther Strode from Image Comics?
Rouga, can you do the Ghost Rider?
Wait, what's up?
Could you do
Luther
Ghost Rider?
Strode from Image Comics.
No, not you. The black dude. I heard you. What'd the black dude say? Do you not know you're black?
Oh, what?
The guy who said something was the person. Jim, was that you who said that?
Yeah, I said it.
Okay.
I think.
Oh, no, not you. The other guy. Damn it, whatever. I heard what you said. You said Luther Strode. Whatever. Okay. I don't know anything about Luther Strode. So if we get to Luther Strode and nobody's here to talk about him, then we won't be able to do Luther Strode. Because Luther Strode is...
Yeah, it makes sense. He's not very known.
He's not... Well, yeah, I mean, so it's like I could put him on the list, but no one is going to know anything about him. So I don't think we're actually going to end up talking to him by the time we get to his character.
Yeah, probably won't, because in an hour I'm gonna have to start my shift, so I won't.
Yeah, so I'm not
going
gonna put on Luther Strode. We'll put on.
All right.
We'll put on Wolverine. I've seen Wolverine twice. We'll do Wolverine. Let's get Wolverine over here. I'd put Captain Planet if he was a comic character first and foremost.
No, Dredd. Is Dredd a superhero?
Judge Dredd is on here. And I wasn't actually sure whether or not I should put him because I don't 100% consider him a superhero. But I mean,
if Punisher's a superhero, he's a superhero.
well, Punisher and him are very different. Judge Dredd is a police officer. He's technically works for the government to stop crimes, but I guess technically he's super. So I mean, what would make Judge Dredd different than someone like Deku? Because they both work for the government, you know, to go out and fight
Nothing
dudes.
really.
So it's kind of similar.
Yeah.
Rorschach
Well, I
of
meant, like, the Punisher
Manhattan
is-
or Ozymandias. That's another DC character. We now have 3 DC characters, and we now have 3 DC characters. We have 3 Marvel characters. I mean, we could add it if there's no one else who's better. We could put down somebody from that. We could put down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually,
Like
I
Deku.
was wondering if you were adding sub labels of these comics,
What do you mean sub labels?
like Dark. Well, no, I don't think Dark Horse is one.
Mr. Incredible is a
like
movie character.
Like
not a-
Vertigo or what's another one?
I don't know. I have one Dark Horse character here. Let me see. Trying to
Blade is my vote.
Let's try and
for
get, since
the
we only have
final
2 females, let's make the last one another female. Anybody got a really good female character? Purely American comic books, or are you doing manga too? We can do manga. If it's a good enough pick, we could do manga, but it does have to be a superhero still. I guess. It depends. But give me a really, really solid. I asked him to give me like a really solid female superhero, and he gives me probably the worst character in My Hero. That's an exaggeration. She's not the worst character in My Hero. She's not very interesting. Oh,
one.
Chaco.
Chaku?
Oh no.
Choco?
I was
Yeah,
gonna say
nah.
Mirko, but I was gonna say Mirko.
She's the only
I don't know.
She's the only female superhero I can think of. Really? She's the only one?
Tatsumaki from
Wonder
One Punch Man.
Woman, Supergirl.
Tatsumaki's not,
Oh, Tatsumaki.
not terrible. Witchblade's already on the
Girl.
list. As of right now, we have 2 females on the list. We have Witchblade and we have Wonder Woman. We need one more, and then
She-Hulk.
that'll be the 15th character. And let's
Is
try and
Mirko a good
Miracle. How about, okay, are there no like comic book female characters? Are no one's interested in that, or are we all, because everyone's telling me
She-Hulk.
manga characters now, and everyone's telling me manga characters from the same series.
It's
I like
easier to
She-Hulk.
think about.
Yeah,
What are you talking about? There's a ton of superheroes that are females that are in American comics. It's weird that y'all can't think about it, y'all sexists.
Damn.
Got that?
No, I was about to
Crazy.
say they probably can't think of any other manga female superheroes.
Then don't
Just
try and
probably
do
like-
manga. Just do comic books. If you can only think of one series, that means that there's a serious lack in good superheroes in manga anyway. So just pick a comic book. That's fine.
Would Adam Eve fit the thing?
We already have Invincible.
Damn it.
So I don't want to pick the same exact person.
A lot of
It's
people are
mostly
saying
DC or
Marvel
Marvel
characters
characters.
now. Because that's what I was gonna say. Like swap
Black
out
Canary,
Wolverine.
Instead
of,
Jean Grey, Invisible Woman's not bad. Catwoman, none of it is. Teresa from Claymore. Claymore is not a superhero. What do you guys not? Do you guys not know what superheroes are? She-Ra, Wanda, Heroes Right, Bride Kill. She meant Black Canary, New 52, Supergirl. I kind of figured this was gonna happen. Like basically everybody only knows Marvel and DC. We could do it though. Who do you? Okay, I'm seeing a lot of people. Who do y'all want? Let's get like a really good one that everybody can agree on. Or not? Well, that's not possible. Let's get a really good one that's like everyone's like, yeah, that's pretty decent.
I'm
She-Ra.
going with She-Hulk or Supergirl.
We already have Hulk, so I'm not gonna put She-Hulk on here. We already have Superman, so I'm not. You just picked female versions of 2 characters that are already on the list. How did you even do that?
Yeah. Just because they have the same name doesn't make a female version.
I didn't. It is a female version. It's literally Supergirl and She-Hulk. They're literally female versions. They might have different
But they completely-
personalities and storylines, but they are female versions of the characters. She-Ra. She-Ra's pretty cool, but I don't know if I consider her a superhero because she's from like a fantasy series. She's not like a superhero. She's a
Jessica Jones is a good option.
Jessica Jones isn't terrible.
What about
I
Universal?
bet you people would say like
the
Powerpuff Girls.
the
'cause
ants.
they're technically
We could do the
superheroes.
ants. The ant's funny. That's a funny pick. That's kind of like a Deadpool type character, actually. Let's see, Jessica Jones. Looks like a lot of people are saying Jessica Jones. Yeah, everybody's basically. The Incredibles is not a comic; it's a movie. Like nobody gonna say She-Thing. Who's She-Thing? Anyone ever heard of She-Thing?
No.
I don't think I've ever heard of She-Thing. That's a new one. All right, let's. I'll just put. If no one can come up with anything, I'll put Jessica Jones. Honestly, Jessica Jones isn't even really a superhero. Like she used to be, but then after she gets like molested, she just becomes a detective with superpowers. She's not really a superhero.
She's still a superhero sometimes. Like she's been an Avenger and stuff.
I suppose. I guess technically. Miss Marvel, female thing.
I know a lot of virgins
She
have
thing.
basically just become a housewife.
Angela Work. The main character of Something is Eating the Children. It's funny. Here, how about this? I'm gonna put female superheroes. Let's do not Marvel or DC and just see what pops up. And then if we don't find any good ones, we'll just say fuck it, and we'll just we'll do it. No, Faith sucks. Faith was the first one that popped up. Fuck Faith. Angela, Witchblade, Buffy Summers is from a TV show. Starlight from The Boys, Pneumonia from Everything, Strong Female Per Night, whatever. I'll put on Jessica Jones. We'll do Jessica Jones. We will do Jessica Jones. Stars and Stripes counts. I'd say Stars and Stripes. Fuck it. Yeah, we'll do that one. Sure. That's not a terrible. I mean, I think that it's very limited by the fact that she's only in a couple of issues. That's my only real issue with her. But I mean, she's kind of cool. I'm okay with her. Why not? Why the hell not? Now my phone wants to be stupid. I put Stars and Stripes and didn't put the manga, and then just a bunch of pictures of flags popped up. Here we go. This is I forgot how thick this chick was. She's a very meaty gal. She looks like a dude. I'm not gonna lie. Stars and Stripes looks very much like a dude.
That's
Okay.
some people's type,
Basically, a
you know?
female version of All Might.
No, she's not.
Not literally, just
she's
in
not.
how she looks. That's all I was saying.
Not really.
That's
I
all
mean,
was saying.
not really. I mean, she's an American hero. If anything, he made his costume based off
After
of
her.
American. No, not after her, but they both made their costumes based off of America. Except hers makes more
That's true.
sense because she's actually from America.
Right.
That's actually something that that always really confused me about it, is because there are multiple references to All Might being American. Even
Right.
Endeavor says that All Might is an American. He calls him an American at one point. Is he American or is he Japanese? Because his name
he's
Toshi. His name is Toshi whatever. He has a Japanese name, and
I think he's basically an American weeb, like equivalent.
like a Japanese weeb, but like a Japanese
Yeah, but for
gung-ho
America.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Pretty
Maybe.
much.
Because I know
Alright.
he says he loves America and he spent a lot of his like younger years there.
Yeah, he spent a lot. He said he was well. That was one thing that always bugged me about the manga, because it never addressed this. We find out that All Might, he based his entire persona off America, due to the ideals of America and American exceptionalism and all that kind of stuff. And he was like, he that's where he got his ideas from. We never find out who he got his ideas from. Like, what hero was the one who inspired him? Because we know that he got inspired when he came to America. But when we actually go to America and see American heroes, which happens in the movie, it happens in Vigilantes, and we see it with Stars and Stripes, we never see, like, most of the heroes are corrupt as hell that we see in America. So, like, where did he get that like, what made him inspired to like wear the fucking American flag on his body? You know what I mean? We never see that, and I would have
Just
liked to see the
America in
hero
general.
that inspired All Might. That would have been cool to see, but we never got it.
Definitely.
I agree.
But honestly, it might just be that they're basing it off of like American comics and whatnot.
No, I mean,
As
for
far as
sure,
for
100%. That's absolute, because like the whole entire idea of the manga is based. My Hero is based more in American ideals than Japanese ideals overall. So it
Right.
could be just be a representation of like All Might is inspired by America the same way that Horikoshi was inspired by American comics to make his series. That could be the case, but I do think that there seems to be some kind of inconsistency. Maybe not as far as an inconsistency, but the fact that when we actually do go to America, like most of the heroes aren't really that great. In fact, the number one hero in America was inspired by All Might, not the other way around. I was really hoping that the number one hero in America would be a equivalent to All Might, like he would be his equal, but instead it was some much younger chick who was inspired by All Might. So I was like, okay, well, where's the guy who inspired All Might? And like, I don't know. I would have wished there would be a little more competition between the countries, where it was like America's heroes are kind of competing, like could compete with Japan's heroes, but when we see Americans' heroes, they're super underwhelming. They're not actually that good, and Japanese heroes would like wreck their
I
shit.
mean, the one who's inspired is meant to be, in terms of power, it's very equivalent to All Might.
Not really, because All Might, like, she lost to a weakened version of Shigaraki. Like not even
But
one for all
Shigaraki is
or all
meant to
for
be,
one.
but Shigaraki was meant to be equal to All Might in his prime physically at that
That's
point.
what I'm saying. So they're not equal, because Stars and Stripes is in her prime.
Yeah, and she lost to someone who has the physical power of All Might in his prime, plus regeneration,
Yes.
plus all these other powers.
No, he was a weakened version. Shigaraki was weakened at that point. Like greatly weakened at that point.
Yeah, didn't he lose like half of his powers
Yeah,
after
he lost a
this
ton of his
interaction?
powers and stuff at that point. Yeah, he was super weakened, and she did well against him. But I mean, for being the number one hero, I would have assumed she would have done a lot better. And then when Deku ends up fighting him, Deku, Deku clearly struggles. But yeah, there's no doubt at all that Deku is way superior to Stars and Stripes by the time they fight. I actually believe that Stars and Stripes loses her powers and Shigaraki acquires them. Meaning that Shigaraki basically doubles in
no.
power at that point.
Oh no, that's what happens. She loses her powers, but him absorbing her powers is the reason she loses more powers. He loses more powers.
He was already weakened by that point.
No, I mean, like, she weakens him even more,
I
because I
think he's
remember she
right.
like does something where like she corrupts her quirk.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it ends up destroying all his other quirks.
I get it. No, I understand. It was just I don't know. The entire show I was curious as to what the number one hero of America would look like in this world. And then we finally got it. It was basically a fangirl of All Might, and it was not someone who would have been considered an equal to All Might. I also don't like how they do the powers and how they deal with the powers in America. So like in Japan, the whole thing is you're not allowed to use your powers. The government has control over your powers, and like you have to get licenses to use powers, and then only if you have the license and you work for the government are you allowed to use it. That's a very Japanese way of dealing with it. And then when we go to America, I'm expecting, okay, so America's going to have like an American way of dealing with it, which is like you don't have governments don't have the right to tell me whether or not I can use I have my own bodily autonomy and all that kind of stuff, which doesn't really exist in Japan. But then we go over to Japan, they have the way that it works and the laws are identical to, in America, they're identical to Japan, which if we all acquired superpowers and the government came out and said you're not allowed to use them, that would create a fucking civil war. Like, you telling me that I can't use my normal biological functioning would absolutely 100% cause massive hysteria in the United States in a way that it wouldn't in Japan. And the manga, My Hero just sort of sidesteps it. It's just like, no, everybody's just down with this no matter where you go. He did not write in the cultural differences between America and Japan. So, and I didn't buy it. I just didn't buy it at all, that it would work the same way. I also didn't buy that America wouldn't have better, like stronger heroes because there's more people. So like Japan has like a fraction of the amount of people that America does. If you have more people, the odds of you having stronger heroes is just like inevitable. You know what I mean? It just kind of is what it is. I don't know. I just feel like they did America dirty in the series in terms of its heroes and stuff. I really shouldn't be like that annoyed by it because most other countries didn't even get anything, and like we don't know
Yeah,
what
there are no
Germany's
British
heroes
heroes.
are or British heroes are in the series. But honestly, I really after seeing America, I don't really care to see the other countries here. Like I would have been interested to see what a British hero would look like, what a German hero would look like, what an African hero would look like. But now seeing America, and America was done literally the exact same way that Japan was. I was like, okay, I'm not actually that interested in seeing all these different
It would have
countries.
just been like a British themed.
Yeah, basically. It would basically just have felt exactly like Japan. Horikoshi, yeah. It's just, yeah. Because, I mean, like American comics did do that storyline where they actually had, like, the Civil War storyline. That's exactly what it is. It's the government trying to tell people that they can and can't do things. And literally in that comic, it started a civil war because that's the kind of culture that America is. I don't particularly like that comic. I think it's poorly written and characters act out of character just to force a war. But the idea that everyone wouldn't be okay with that is absolutely an American thing in a way that it wouldn't be for necessarily Japan or Britain or a lot of these other countries. They might react totally differently. And it was kind of a bummer that they didn't actually, take advantage of that in the series. It bummed me out. So let's actually get to the list. I'm eating Five Guys right now, so sorry if I'm chewing. I've never had a Five Guys burger before. Like I'm at my parents' house right now, and my dad was like, "Hey, do you want Five Guys?" And I'm like, "You've gotten very progressive recently." And he's like, "No, stupid. I'm talking about a fucking burger." And I was like, "Oh, okay, sure." So he brought me a burger, and there's a burger here, and they just like dumped the fries in the bag. There's no holder for the fries, and I'm like, what kind of savages put this sandwich in here? It's literally just a bag.
What did you do? Did you just like
They
pick them
have
out the bag?
fries.
What's up?
No, they have fries in the container, but they usually just like do 2 extra scoops and dump it in the bag.
No, there's literally
It's
just a
basically
burger
just-
that's wrapped in tinfoil, and on top of the burger was like a fucking 6 pounds of fries that wasn't in anything. It was in the bag.
That's wild.
On top of the, and I'm like, is this how they do things? What the hell is this?
They just firmly didn't give you a.
They just chucked the
container,
fries
man.
in the main bag. Yeah, and I was just like, that's wild, but okay. So that's kind of fun. It's overpriced. I didn't buy it, so I don't care. That doesn't bother me none. As a guy from Virginia, basically the home stranded of I'm gonna say a Five
State
Guys
of Five Guys.
is usually what happens. Okay, that's all right. Whatever. So I'm eating this burger. I haven't actually bitten into this burger yet, but we'll see. Hopefully it's good.
I hope they got you toppings on it because usually you can choose.
Do you guys want to come
Multiple
up? There's multiple
topics.
people down here. Hold up. Invite to speak. Invite to speak. Can somebody else who isn't me occasionally check down into the audience and make sure there's people down? See if there's people down there who want to be invited up. Okay. So first up, we're gonna. Okay. Whoa, before we start, let's break this down. Let's break this down. I know this is taking a while for us to actually start, but let's break this down. Boop, boop. Okay. We're going to get rid of all this because none of this is necessary anymore. Boop. All right. Take this down, and let's what are we deeming as being the prerequisites to getting on to being higher or lower on the list, right? I think that because it's we're gonna do characterization. Okay, that's important. Storylines. Anything else? What else should be on here? Consistency.
Your success rate.
Consistency is definitely an important thing.
Yeah, especially considering this is comics. That's a lot of them are gonna have issues with that. Did someone?
I'll be shocked if
How
any
often you
don't.
succeed at saving the day? How many guys you manage to save? How many times you fail?
No, I don't care about that. I don't care about that. No, it's not. It's not the It's not how. I'm not doing this based on how good of a hero they are. I'm doing this based on the quality of them as a character. So if you can be a terrible hero and still be a really, really solid character, I don't want to. I'm not rating them on like the quality of their heroics, because I already know there's some characters on here that would instantly be Fs if that was the case.
Okay.
Moral code. I'm not too worried about that either. When you're thinking about think about things that are solely quality based, like quality based. What's up?
The validity of their
How
background.
interesting are they?
I mean, isn't that characterization? That's a part of characterization, kind of.
Yeah, I guess so.
So far I got characterization, storylines, and consistency. Is there anything else that we need? I don't think superpowers matter. I don't think.
What about the impact they have in the real world?
Wait, what's up?
The impact they had in the real world, like how much impact they had.
Oh no, I don't care about that because that would mean that less well known characters are automatically less quality, which I don't
Superman
I,
gets
I don't
S
agree with
tier,
that.
like,
Your world,
free up
And-
about one
elements that
aspect.
affect your world.
Nano is saying I think ideals of a character matters. No, because like a character can have terrible ideals but be an amazingly written character. It's not a quality thing. It matters, but it's not based on how that wouldn't change how good or bad of a character
I
they
guess that
are.
would also go into consistency, right? How consistent are our ideals more than anything?
Yeah, that would also be like, if that's what you're talking about. Yeah, that would just be consistency. Moral code. I think I'll do this. The quality of their villains.
How
That's
original
not,
they are.
That's not terrible. That's not terrible. Yeah, they're enemies. A hero's only as good as his
I like that
enemies
one,
kind of
that's a good one.
situation. That's a good one. We'll do villains. That could be one. All right. Anyone else? Simply just how good they. Design. We could do design. Sure. Let's see. With storylines, are you doing storylines that revolve around the character, or storylines that also include the character? Probably just any storyline that they're in. We'll talk about. I mean, obviously, I haven't read every single storyline that all these characters are a part of. But yeah, I mean, you could bring up stuff of their whole story. You know, even if they're appearing as a side character, it's still just one aspect of their story as a whole. Let me see. What is the crazy nano? What about personal struggles? That's kind of do a storyline. I mean, if they don't have any personal struggles, then you don't have a story. Drip design. I already said design. Basically design. I think we could take the TMNT off because they should be part of superhero teams live stream. Wait, what? Because they could a part of a superhero team live stream. No, I mean I'm gonna keep. I'll keep. I mean, well, okay, I can't take them off. Just straight up, you cannot delete them once they're here. And we can ignore them, but then it's gonna mess with some people's OCD, I imagine. If we just keep
You
skipping.
also just put them in another live stream just because we're in one, it doesn't cut them off from another.
Yeah, that's true. We can always use them in a different live stream. And it would
Hey,
just change.
there's more people in the audience.
Judge Dredd's already here. Thank you. Let me see. Where are they? Boop, boop. Who's here? Okay, who wants to come up? We'll do Drek. I don't know who you are. You've already been invited. Space Duck. I don't know who you are. We'll invite you up. Saturn. Boop.
Oh.
All right, Drak, you gotta fix your mic, man. You gotta fix your mic badly. There's a really annoying humming sound.
Is that shit? That might be my fucking. Okay, I'd mute myself.
Okay, cool. All right, everybody else has been invited. Awesome. So let's start. I think we're good for the most part for right now. Characterization, storylines, consistency, villains, design. And if we start ignoring it, that's fine too. It's not really. It's just kind of think of this as more of a guide rather than like a. Because I mean, your character can have a really awesome design and like they can have a really awesome design and really cool villains and be relatively consistent and have 3 out of 5, but they're still in like shitty storylines and their character sucks and they would still go at the bottom of the list. Like that's not going to be enough to save them. So we'll look at these 5 things, but none of it is going to completely save or hinder the character. Anyway. Let's and also we to look at what we have here. We have the qualities. We have mythical, which I put mythical up there because it's sort of like I feel like the best of superheroes have kind of become the modern mythical character. Like these are like Hercules and Zeus and things like that. That's sort of what our modern myths are, comic books for the most part, or superhero characters. Then there's great, hit or miss. I think that's going to be filled with characters on here. Trash, and then I'd rather get cancer. So those are the tiers. Let's start with Invincible. Does anyone want to say anything about Invincible? Are you a big fan of Invincible, read Invincible, or do you want me to take it?
I think Invincible is great, but he has a massive. My biggest problem with him is consistency is all over the place, especially in terms of fights in the show and in the comics. It's all over the place. They make power scaling or like power growth a really big thing about his character, but they just can't even keep it consistent at all. He'll lose to people he's beat in season 1, in season 3, and it just consistency is a really big issue. I think almost to a point where it sort of annoys me about the show. and ruined some of the stories because I'm like, why are you losing to the Mauler twins at the fucking third season?
And would you say that the
It's
comic
like
book
you
is?
haven't progressed.
And would you say the comic book is basically has all those same problems? I know the comic book has some of
Yeah,
those same problems. Like I think it's ridiculous that they bring
I
characters like
haven't read
Witchblade
it.
and
I haven't read
Spawn.
it fully, but from what I've been told, it's very similar issues where he just loses to people he shouldn't or struggles really hard,
Mhm.
and they have the excuse of, well, he's holding back. I'm like, but why is he less durable? Because he's holding back? That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, I made that
It's
same
just
point.
bad writing.
I made that same point. The issue with I actually think it's kind of funny because you'll notice a theme on this list that the characters who are written by one person generally are better than the ones that aren't. I feel like we're going to run into that multiple times, but Invincible is one of the characters that are written by one dude. So it is strange that it's incredibly inconsistent. I will say that. But I do
It's
think
inconsistent about
that
something
he's
what's
done...
important too.
What's up, Liam?
It's inconsistent about like that his power level is a really big issue in the comics and the show. Like it's pretty much the main thing about him is I need to get stronger to fight these stronger characters. But then you're not keeping it consistent, and that's like basically the main purpose of Mark is to get stronger. But then you can't keep it consistent. It's just really like upsets the show's like storytelling.
Yeah, like if it's generally speaking, power level consistency isn't extremely important, but if it does get to the point that it's actually like harming the story, then that's a problem for sure. I think generally speaking, Mark is relatively well written. My issue with Mark generally is that I find him unbelievably boring. I don't actually think he's that interesting, like at all. Even a little bit. Like he's one of the least interesting characters in his own comic, which I think is a pretty big problem. I also think that the comic itself. Now we also do need to kind of decide whether or not we're basing this off the comic as a whole or just specifically the character, because the comic as a whole, the pacing of the comic is awful. It's so bad. The show has way better pacing. Like the for people who haven't read the comic, certain storylines that are dealt with in literally one issue, or I'm sorry, in literally one episode of the show, like the whole, aliens show up and then they have to like they're coming from some other dimension. Every time they come, there's like a time displacement and they start aging quickly. They come to Earth 3 times in one episode and they deal with that whole storyline. In the comics, they'll come to Earth once. You won't see them for like 15 issues. They'll come back, they'll do it again. You won't see them for another 5 or 10 issues. They'll come back and they'll do it again. And basically every storyline is dragged out like that, where it's like, man, we should have gotten this way, like, Jesus. And I do think that is a massive issue with the comics. Like, there's a reason why I couldn't finish it, is because the pacing is garbage. It's really, really bad. And it's not a long comic. It's only like, 150, 160 issues. I think I might have that wrong if someone can correct me. But it's really, really slow. And if I can't get through 150 issues, that's not good. That's bad pacing. So I don't find the main character to be all that interesting, and I don't think the pacing is all that great. I do think that the show I saw it. I'll read it in a second.
Okay,
I do think that the individual moments within the comic are really cool. Like there are a lot of scenes that happen where you're like, God damn, wow, really? Like that's crazy. But that only goes so far. And overall, I don't think I could put it in great. I think I have to put it in
I think
hit
what you
or
said
miss.
about Mark being the least interesting character in his own series does sort of hurt him.
I mean, do you all agree with me? If someone disagrees with me, by all
No,
means.
I agree.
I agree with
I
you.
think Cecil is an
I'd like to add to
improving
that,
character
actually.
in Mark.
Let the guy who said, let me add to that. Let him add to it.
Yeah, that was me. So like, yeah, I think that it's actually not the best written character, but it's the story itself as a whole that is actually very well written. You're right. Mark is easily the least interesting person. His mom is more interesting as a character than he is.
In a lot of ways, yeah. Which is
yeah,
weird.
like so that's not really. I mean, she's a badass, but like, yes and no. I have to agree, but I also just want to come into the defense of Invincible, where I think that he's not supposed to be super consistent in the way that the fights are written. The way they're choreographed is obviously amazing, but the way they're written really isn't. But I don't think that's as important as the general story itself going through the seasons. And
You're right, but
it is a little fucking weird at times. So I'll grant
the
you
one
that
issue.
too.
Sorry, the one issue I have with you saying it's not important is the entire point of the show
Less
is Mark
important.
literally needs to get more powerful. That's a massive point. He has training arcs. He's constantly told he needs to get more powerful to fight Viltrumites.
Yeah, they don't have like a
But-
Saiyan sort of thing where it's like, you know, you get beaten the fuck up and then you get like immediately stronger because of it.
They
So,
don't,
like,
but they
I don't quite understand how he's getting so much stronger so faster.
Well, his
There's
training, isn't
definitely there's training, but like training doesn't go that fast.
Well, if you're a
So
Viltrumite, I
I'm-
mean, being a Viltrumite, you have
It's-
no idea how fast training is.
it's a
Like
good
that's the
point.
whole. That's one of the point. That's one of the benefits of being able to do it with an alien creature. Yeah.
Yeah, but like at the same time, it's still inconsistent because like if your training could escalate you that fast, and the people who he's fighting are the veterans of that war that almost wiped out like their entire population, those people should be wildly stronger. So like no, there's still an
most of the
inconsistency
time they are
problem.
though.
Like an incomparably strong. Like
Well,
the,
So no,
Mark's
M
training
Porky.
should not
M
be able to
Porky.
make the difference.
Well, M
That's my-
Porky is partially correct. He says that Mark gets stronger because, well, first off, let me read Mike's because it's been there for a bit now. Just wanted to swing by and drop cash and say keep it the go thing, do your thing. All right, thank you, Mike. Thanks for $20. He just kept the stream going for a little bit. So everybody, thank Mike. Next up, Porky says Mark gets stronger because he's half human and has the access to adrenaline, something that other full-blooded Viltrumites don't have. This is true. So, like, that one of the reasons why Thrag wants to start mating with human women to make more Viltrumites is because he wants Viltrumites that are capable of enhancing their strength levels with anger, something that normal Viltrumites can't do. So that is something that's kind of a part of it. Mark isn't necessarily physically stronger than Thrag, but when he gets angry, he can overcome and match and even possibly overcome Thrag, which is kind of like one of the benefits that Mark has of being half human. Kind of
If
like how
that's
his
the case.
Go ahead.
Sorry, I didn't mean to step on
No,
your
you're
sentence,
good, go
but
ahead.
if that's the case, then doesn't that sort of explain why he can beat somebody one day and like not another? Because like anybody who's done sparring
really,
will know
though.
you don't like win all the time. I've like
To an
opponents of mine, like, you know, I win like 4 out of 6. Or
I
something
think
like
that I
on
think that
average.
reasoning only works to a certain extent. Like it's weird
Agreed.
when he's fighting someone who should be so far
The
below him.
Mola twins.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a point where like adrenaline doesn't matter. Like
Yeah, well,
I've
there's a
known
point where he
couple
should not
dudes
need
who are,
adrenaline.
Like human.
Like,
there
when
are
you
some
have
people
one
I
scene-
know that are human weapons. You
Yeah,
know,
like when-
there's nothing I can do that.
Well, no,
can
not
ever-
just
there's no
that. It's just
adrenaline
physical.
that's
It's just
gonna
physical
make me
strength.
win.
No. It's not about the adrenaline. It's like they show him without adrenaline lifting up a massive glacier that's like hundreds of tons, and then he can't beat the Mauler twins, who like aren't really that strong. Like they can't even break out of their concrete, their concrete cell. Like it's just not that. They're just not that strong. He does that without adrenaline. Like he should be able at that point to throttle both of them, but he just doesn't. And this kind of goes to another part.
Oliver does it by accident.
What's up?
Like they show Oliver literally kills them by accident. They're that much weaker than him.
Yeah. Well, that's another thing too. I really, really don't. Well, they also it's heavily implied that because of the biology of Arthur is his name. That's not his name. You said Arthur?
Oliver.
Oliver. I was about to
Oliver.
say. I know his name wasn't Arthur.
It might just be my voice.
Yeah.
It's a bit fucky.
Oliver. They do say that because Oliver is partially that bug species, that he actually matures considerably faster than other people because that's what he got from his alternate
Fractum?
species. So he's actually a lot stronger than he should be at that age. Like that's why he got his powers sooner than Mark did, and that's why like his strength increases at a much more rapid rate than Mark's does. That could be kind of pseudo, maybe. But I mean, at the end of the day, I honestly just think the whole and this is one thing that I absolutely despise. The whole pacifistic nature of Invincible annoys me.
Yeah.
Like
that one sucked.
it goes on for way too long, and it's just
That's what I was.
and it's just like, oh, I don't want to hurt people. I don't want to kill anybody. I feel like this dude tried to kill my mother and I beat him to death, and now I'm really sad about it. Now I don't want to use violence. And I'm like, I fucking hate this kid. I don't like this kid. He's really starting to annoy me. And it would have been fine if it was like an episode or two, but it was like a season and a half they had him dealing with this, and it was
It's still sort of going on.
Yeah,
I mean,
his
by the end of season 3,
characterization is-
he's kind of like, no, we're gonna start killing people now. So I don't know. We'll see what season 4 does. But that was something that that irritated the hell out of me while I was watching season 3. I was like, I don't like this character anymore. I liked him kind of in season 2. He annoyed me a little bit. Like, I liked him. I wouldn't say I liked him. I was indifferent to him in season 2 because I still think he's boring. But in season 3, he actually started to like legitimately get on my nerves. All the stuff with Powerplex. That was one of the most annoying storylines that I've watched in a while. Like the whole that Powerplex episode.
I think that is
The whole
Remind me
thing
what the Powerplex
could have
storyline
solved
was.
it easily too. That's the crazy part.
And yeah, and it is absolutely 100% Mark's. It's not Mark's fault that when he was fighting trying to stop his dad and people died, him trying to save people. That wasn't his fault. He tried everything he could. Powerplex family dying, that's his fault. Because he could have stopped that anytime he wanted to, and he didn't. And he caused the death of that family. Him just constantly fucking around, and the show really wants you to get on board. It's doing this thing that's really annoying now, and y'all can tell me if the comics do this too, because again I haven't read the whole thing. But the show does this really annoying thing where it keeps trying to take the villains and make us feel bad for them, and to build like sympathy points for the villains, and it's awful at it. Like, we're supposed to feel bad for Powerplex. We're supposed to feel bad for those 2 bank robbers who are gay and poor and are robbing banks because they just can't keep a job down. And it's like, why? I'm so confused. Why am I supposed to feel bad for these people? Like they can't get it's 2 grown men. They can't get enough money to have then fucking move. Go somewhere where the work is. Like, why are you robbing places? Like, they try to justify their robberies because they can't keep a job, and I'm supposed to feel bad about that. Like, it's so weird. And then they get their asses kicked, and you're supposed to feel bad that Mark has to beat them up, and I don't feel bad. I wish he killed them. I wish he killed both of them. They annoy me. Like, it's just it irritating. And the show's done this like 3 or 4 times at this point. And it's really starting to get on my nerves. I don't feel bad for Angstrom Levy. I think he's a psychopath. The whole idea of like, oh, pacifist. I don't think people. We don't hurt anyone, don't kill anyone. But yet I'm gonna take this helmet off and cause like hundreds and hundreds of deaths because I don't want one dude to get killed. And then after I kill those hundreds of people, I am now going to attack Mark, specifically the only good Mark in the entire multiverse. Because I'm blaming him for a bunch of memories that I'm getting that have nothing to do with him. But I'm going to totally team up with these other evil Marks who did do this stuff. But while also trying to harm the one good Mark. Like, his whole... Nothing that he does makes sense. His whole character is baffling to me. I just don't think he's well. The more I'm talking about this, the more I'm starting to hate this show. And I want to put it lower.
Hit or miss.
Like, the more it's like...
it gets from hit or miss.
This is a problem with media in general, where people who aren't as intelligent as the characters they're writing, and sometimes it shows.
Yeah, like I'm pretty sure people will have that same issue they have with Angstrom Levi with that one character in The Boys that was supposed to be super smart.
Yeah,
helping Homelander. I forget her name because of how bad she was.
Hold up. Dark Depths says it. Is this the comics or the show? It is the comics. It's not the show. We kind of went off in a tangent talking about the show, but we were talking about the comics.
Issues.
The comics has very, very similar issues, except the comics also have a lot worse pacing. Like considerably worse pacing. But like I don't know particularly, like, is the Powerplex storyline done better in the comics? Is the
I've heard it's done the same or worse. From what I've been told, everything in the show is done better than in the comics, because it's basically his chance to do a redo and fix things.
Well, let's hear from someone who's actually read the comics. Dark, have you read the comics? Is the Powerplex storyline and the Angstrom-Levy storyline and a lot of these storylines that I think are done very, very poorly, are they done better in the comics? Have you read the comics? Kinda. That's not a very good sell. You're not really selling it very well.
Maybe.
I don't think kinda is really enough. I think it's probably still a hit or miss. Does anyone disagree with hit or miss? They are similar, but not the same. The Armstrong storyline is worst, and kinda just as bad as the show. I don't want to spoil people. I
Just
mean,
talk about
you're
the
not
stuff that's
talking
in
about
the
anything
season.
that we haven't already seen in the show. I mean, if you want to say
Right.
that things are slightly different, I mean, that's not really much of a spoiler. We've already passed it in the show. I say hit or miss is fine. Mark's not that bad. I didn't say he was bad. I said he was boring. He's incredibly boring, and in season 3, he's unbelievably irritating. Unbelievably irritating. I think he needs to get over the whole pacifist thing. It took him way too long to get over the pacifist thing. There are some storylines I think the show actually just straight up did do worse. Like, I think Amber was just... There's no
Amber,
one in
yeah.
my mind that could... Like, there's no way I think anyone could
It was
argue that
horrible.
Amber was an improvement.
Nope.
Because I actually did read that part in the comics, and Amber was way better in the comics. She was simple, and she was mainly a plot device, but she was a lot better than Amber. She wasn't irritating. I didn't hate her. So that's a bonus. The Powerplex is only slightly better. Amber was a lot... Yeah, Amber was a lot different. Mark is kind of a dweeb. I don't mind a character being a dweeb. I mean, you can... Well, I mean, they try to sell Peter Parker as a dweeb. He's not a dweeb. He hasn't been a dweeb since high school. He's kind of a badass, and he's kind of cool at the moment. I mean, he has the record in Marvel for sleeping with the most women. So it's like you can't really call him much of a dweeb anymore. But he used to be a dweeb. But no, I just think it's boring. I don't think it's necessarily that he's a dweeb. I think he's just dull. He's a very dull character. So, I mean, okay, everyone seems to agree on hit or miss, so we're going to keep him at hit or miss. Next up, we have Superman. Liam, you want to take this one since you were...
He's the GOAT.
Yeah, go ahead. Oh, he's the GOAT?
He's the GOAT. He's Superman.
That doesn't
No,
mean,
okay,
that doesn't
taking
mean
the
nothing.
piss. I was being very biased. Superman is... Consistency is... I don't even know you can say consistency, because I don't know if it's consistency, if it's a different character in a different universe.
No, I mean...
He's
You can
got
take
consistent
Prime-
portrayal.
You can take Prime Earth Superman and go across DC Comics, and it's not consistent.
But I don't think he's as inconsistent as, like, Invincible, but he definitely has a problem.
That's wild if you think that he's less... Because Invincible was actually written by one dude, and Superman was written by, like, 40 dudes. So that's wild if Invincible seems to not be able to be as consistent as Superman.
I mean, it's different because, again, like, New 52 Superman and, like, Golden Age Superman are literally different characters.
No, I understand. But if you follow Prime Earth Superman, it's just as all over the place. Like, the versions of Prime Earth Superman are just as wildly different than the version of Prime Earth and, Earth 2. Like, they're super different within the same Earth. Like, after New 52, they ended up messing up his character so badly that they had to have a reveal that it actually wasn't the original Superman because it was so unbelievably uncharacteristic and people hated it.
Yeah,
Now,
I do remember that.
Them retconning it and saying, oh, actually, this is a totally different character, doesn't change the fact that that was a correction because the character sucked so bad. And even right now in Absolute Superman, they're doing some really weird shit with Superman. They're always doing weird shit with Superman.
Well, I mean,
Superman's...
Absolute Superman is an Elseworlds.
No, it's not. Absolute's the main one. Am I wrong? That's a Prime...
No,
That's...
no,
No,
it's
no.
it's
Should be an Elseworld or
I thought it was
Elseworld.
alternate.
Well, so what's
Absolute
that
Batman
universe?
series is a completely different universe.
Okay,
in
fair
its
enough,
own
fair enough.
continuity.
Let me just be clear. I haven't read a DC comic in at least 5 or 6 years. So, yeah. But so what's the current run of Superman? Like actual
what they've
Prime
done-
Earth Superman.
So
That's a good question.
he's referred to. I'm pretty sure he's just referred to as Prime Superman. But there was I think it was one of the fucking world. It was one of the multiversal events where the World Forger showed up. That they had taken taken the entire mess of the DC comic books and actually canonized a majority of the variations. Somehow I didn't really read it to figure out what they did, but they made most of the events canon and actually have characters talking about those events. But for who Superman is now, I would say he has a more consistent character with trying to do the right thing and not losing control with the amount of power he has. Like writers have that idea figured out about him now, and now they know that is the idea with Superman and what he should be written as. So yeah.
Okay.
So now we can't. Yeah.
So I'm just gonna say my opinion on this, just as a flat DC Marvel. I think basically every character DC or Marvel has ever made is a mixed bag at max. Like absolute best case scenario, they're a mixed bag. I can think of maybe 3 or 4 characters across both universes that aren't mixed bags because they're inconsistent. They're filled with retcons. They act differently depending on the writer that comes in. Sometimes sometimes Superman is just a complete piece of shit asshole. Sometimes he's a great representation of who Superman is. He just acquires powers out of nowhere that he uses one time and never uses them again to get out of particular situations. There's just so much wrong. Now, you can read an individual storyline with Superman and think it's amazing. But if you take the storyline as a whole, from his creation to now, it is completely baffling, and it's not good. I don't think there's anyone who could say that this is a quality story from beginning to end, which is why I generally look at comic books when it comes to specifically Marvel and DC, that they're less of one continuous story and more like a myths, where it's you could tell a story about Hercules or a story about Odysseus or Achilles, and there's multiple stories about these characters, but they're basically completely standalone characters. They're like individual myths that people tell about this person, and none of them are actually legitimate representations. The problem is that the DC and Marvel don't write their comics like that. They write it as if they are one solid story, and this is a character just going through these situations. And if that was the case, basically every Marvel and DC character is essentially bipolar. It just nothing they do makes sense, and it's all over the place. They're constantly changing their minds about things, and like I said, just straight up retcons oftentimes. They forget things, massive things that happen. They just completely forget it happened because it's inconvenient to the current story that's going on. I don't think they're very good. And I don't think I could put Superman or really any DC or Marvel character higher than mixed bag, simply because people are fans of the idea of Superman, despite the fact that the actual comics themselves are not particularly good.
I think it's got better recently. They've got
but
better.
He's been out since the 1930s.
Yeah.
So even if you want to say it's gotten better recently, in the last 10, 20, 50 years, even if it's gotten better in the last 50 years, you still have another fucking 50 or 60 years before that where it wasn't good, you know what I mean? And that's all.
Did anybody
adds
else see the video about 50 ways Superman could kill Batman? And they go into some of his weird obscure. One of them is he can literally just blast burgers. His writing is so inconsistent if you take it from beginning to end.
Yeah, you literally can't take it. I honestly think that
you can't.
I honestly think that one of the worst things that Marvel and DC did was decide to try and keep the characters. They've been doing this since both series have been around. They try to keep the characters at this one idea of who the characters are, and keep them that way always. Spider-Man will always be Spider-Man, whether you read him in the 30s or you read him now. He's going to be the same dude with slight variations, a more modernized version perhaps, but he's the same dude. Superman's basically the same way. There's slight variations, there's little differences here and there, but for the most part, Superman across since the 1930s has not evolved as a character other than becoming more powerful and a couple of small changes. Like right now arguably big changes. Like right now he doesn't say, the American way. They changed it to a better tomorrow. There's always like little changes based on the time period, but like Superman is Superman. And while you could say, oh well, that's like a good thing because that makes the character this mythical being. But for a story, it's bad. It's really bad for a story. Like
They've
really bad.
evolved him in a more permanent way recently. But yeah, that's a recent thing.
Yeah, well, but he's gonna revert back. They always revert back.
Him having a kids and a family is a permanent part of his character now.
No, I mean, I suppose, but even so, like that's not. Sure, he has a kid. Fine, whatever. Well, no, because they did the same thing with Spider-Man. Spider-Man had a wife and kids, and they literally reverted him back.
But if you look at pretty much
Batman was about to get married to Catwoman, and they reverted him back. They stopped the wedding before it happened. This is something that comics do all the time. I'm not saying that they're going to eliminate his children. I'm not saying that they're going to do that. But I'm saying if this character has been existing since the 1930s and the only major change is that now he has kids and he didn't a couple years ago, I'm not going to say it. You're talking about almost 100 years at this point. It's a little less than 100 years, but it's almost 100 years. And that's all you can give me? That's not good. That's really, really bad.
But again, you haven't had the same character, like the same person.
I would say there's a wild change from where they go from start to finish, and a number of varieties to each character, which even at some points interact with each other. I would say that part of the appeal to the stories would be the fact is for how long they've stayed. We can see how much our culture has changed around them, and how much our writing methods differ throughout the years, because
that's not related to the character. Like that's like modern. I said they modernized the story, but oftentimes that modernization is actually antithetical to the character as they are. Like when they modernized Captain America by making him turn his back on all his beliefs because the writers at Marvel right now don't believe in the same things that Captain America stood for back in the 1940s. So he literally calls himself a racist and says that he had Captain America was never a racist. You can go back and read the 1940s comics when he came out and he wasn't a racist. So like suddenly making him a racist now because the writer believes that he was a racist back in the 1940s just because everyone was a racist back then. So obviously Captain America must have been a racist. I'm going to write him as if he was a racist. And somehow like his nationalism and stuff is automatically white supremacy and stuff. This is stuff they do all the time. The whole what they're doing right now with Superman. Superman was always a character who held up American values, and now he's not. He took the American way out of his value system, and now it's a better tomorrow.
That's been out of it for like 20 years.
Yeah, but that's not good. That's
no, I don't think it's good. But
it happening with the last 20 years, a better tomorrow just happened. They literally just officially changed it.
Oh, but I mean, they got rid of the American way like 20 years ago.
Not real. No, not real. I mean, they recently actually like he's never been like truth, justice, and a better tomorrow. That's a new thing that they just gave him within the last like couple of years. That wasn't 20 years ago.
They've been trying to find a replacement.
Within the past 20 years, he's been saying truth and justice.
Yeah, I know, but I'm saying like, that's a problem because it's not something that's done because this is something that Superman would do. It's something that's being done because these characters are products. And
hey, Rouga,
what's up?
Sorry to interrupt, but there are people in the comments discussing it too. I was just pointing that out.
No, I mean it's fine. Yeah, it's there. But there's the characters. These characters, Marvel and DC characters, more so than normal comics, are products. They are altered in whatever way that they need to be altered so that Marvel and DC can sell it. So for instance, the whole X-Men thing, right? Fox owned the X-Men. So in Marvel Comics, they eliminated the X-Men from Marvel Comics, and they tried to push the Inhumans. There was no good story reason to do that other than the fact that Fox owned the rights in the movies. And then when they bought Fox, now suddenly the X-Men appeared back in the comics. That is a decision that was made on a corporate level. Marvel and DC feel like a corporate product. They don't feel like genuine stories. They don't feel like stories that are told by people who are trying to say something. It doesn't feel like art. It feels like a product when you read it. And this is basically across the board in Marvel and DC with some very, very few exceptions. Some characters are affected a little less than others. Some characters are massively affected. Superman is one of the ones, I would say, from like an A to an F, I would say like he was affected in like a B minus. There are characters that have been affected a lot worse than he was, but he was still affected pretty fucking bad. He does feel like a product.
Yeah, a lot of characters have turned into a mouthpiece for their art, for the current modern artists and writers.
Well, yeah.
Unfortunately,
Marvel after Ike Perlmutter left, Marvel hired a bunch of activists, and not only not only in Disney, like with their movies. And this is known. This has been recorded. The guy the CEO of Disney wanted to run for president. So he started hiring very left-wing people on purpose in Disney, so they can create basically left-wing propaganda, so that it would help his chances at running for president. But then he decided to pull out because his family said that they would never be able to see him. And yeah, this was a whole thing. This has all been documented. People who work at Disney have said that this is exactly what happened, and this was the case for Marvel Comics as well. Because
I knew it was bad. Not that bad.
Oh, no. This is something that has all been documented. There's been a lot of people coming out who work at Disney who have just straight up said this. And then Ike Perlmutter, who always had this sort of philosophy, because he was originally was a head of Marvel Comics before Disney bought them. His philosophy was always like, okay, we need left-wing comics, and that's going to be like X-Men, and then we have our right-wing comics, which will be like Captain America and Punisher. Like, he always kept it relatively like, here's the comics for these people, here's the comics for these people. He always kept it relatively split. After Ike Perlmutter stopped taking over Marvel Comics, it went downhill, and they started doing some very strange. Now, this isn't the only reason. I mean, this shit's been going on since comics have existed, but more recently, it's got a lot worse. But this has been something that's kind of been out and about, and it's just, yeah, it's not great. I mean, if someone has a legitimate point where they think that Superman should be above a hit or miss, that isn't just because he's Superman and he's iconic, like actually on the quality of his character and his writing and his history.
I think he's had some absolutely phenomenal stories, and he has obviously
and he has an established character now. Like I said, people know that he is about doing the right thing while not giving in to.
He's always had an established character. It's just a lot of the nuances have been a bit vague sometimes.
I think you can't really put him above Invincible, honestly, just because they're both the same.
I think he's above Invincible. I just don't think he's.
Maybe he's above, but like not on the
if I was
tier
a richer man,
list.
he'd be in mythical
He's still got to
right
be
now,
a taker. He's still got to be like a hit or miss, because his character, whatever else you want to say about him, there's one thing that's been very consistent in his character the whole way through. He's a paragon. That is his archetype. And in that sense, he's really the same as Invincible. I kind of find, personally, Paragon's boring. So, like, for me, I can't put him above Invincible.
So I would say you can't. I would say he's better than Invincible, because one thing that has stayed consistent with Superman is he's not a pacifist. He'll actually kill people from time to time. He's never had a no-kill rule at any point. He's understand that there's a point where you should kill. He's also having to deal with the existential crisis of being the last of his kind and having very few species, and having to deal with that dread. Now, it's arguable who's got more better complex problems between Mark and Superman, but there's still a discussion to be had in those scenarios, and it's just Superman.
It's the Paragon aspect that it's like their
That's more
core
personal
character
preference.
is very. Oh no, for sure, but like, if we're gonna say that like Invincible is kind of boring because he's has these values, which are basically the
No,
paragon
that's not.
values.
That's not the reason
I
we
don't
said
know.
he's boring. We said he's boring because
On a character
one,
level.
yeah, the character is straight up boring. Two, he like straight up in season 3, his pacifism is getting like to Batman levels of ridiculous.
Yeah, no, I'll give you that.
Like
I don't know.
that's
It's
the same
just
reason
the
I don't
paragon.
like
That's just
Batman.
my
Ooh,
argument.
this will be
Because
fun.
Batman's passive.
Wait, hold up. We got someone in the comments who's
In the comments,
we have
yeah.
someone in the comments who's kind of funny. Okay, so Rouga buying into the American way shit like every alt-right guy probably liked Ben Shapiro's Superman review. I haven't seen Ben Shapiro's Superman review,
What?
but I liked Superman, the movie.
I didn't see that.
The point is not that it's not that they changed the American way. The point is the evolution of Superman not being an evolution. It's being a product that changes with whatever the writers want him to do so that they could sell the most comics or so that they could push whatever it is they want to push at the time. I don't care how political it is. I just said that X-Men are a left-wing political comic book, and it's fine that they're left wing, but if they started talking about gun rights and the importance of blah 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 and started doing a bunch of right wing shit, I would get annoyed because it doesn't make any sense. And this isn't about left or right. See, it's people like you that make this shit about politics. I didn't say anything about politics. Like I said that they altered his main line, and that was a corporate move, not a character move. That's what I said. You're the fucking loser who thinks that everything has to be about fucking politics and trying to force a fight where there isn't one. I'm not a political person, so like it's just very goofy that this has become the thing. I think it's the first time I've ever seen something like this in my comment section though, because I'm usually pretty open about the fact that I'm not particularly political. It's not about the opinion; it's them saving things like don't even know about. It's like saying Tony Stark was never an alcoholic, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, he's basically saying that I said I haven't read a Superman comic in years. I said I haven't read a DC or Marvel comic in about 5 years. The comics have existed since the 1930s, bro. If I haven't read it, I don't have to have read it, and I don't have to be like updated to the very year to like if there's almost 100 years of comics and I missed 5 of them, it doesn't matter how good those 5 years are. It doesn't change the last fucking 80 something 90 years that we've been having. Superman came out in what 1939? I mean, I've been reading Superman comics for quite a while. He's always had these problems. This is not like a new situation. I'm sorry, bro, but you're a fucking loser, dude. You're the one who's bringing the politics into it. You're not listening to anything I'm saying. You just want to be mad about something. It's not really, it's got nothing to do with me. Superman 4, great, because like the others said, he's a paragon, will kill, and stands for what the best of what humanity can be. Sorry, my eyes are fucking with me right now. Though not mythical due to multiple writers, but definitely great. I don't think but that's the thing. I don't think you can put him in great because of how, like, there are a ton of shitty Superman stories. Like, an absolute ton of shitty Superman stories. And even a lot of the ones that aren't shitty feel very, very soulless. There are a lot of really, really solid Superman stories that are great. But, I mean, for every great Superman story, there's like a bunch that you don't give a shit about. You're just passively taking in content, and I mean, how many Superman stories can you think of that you're just completely like ambivalent to or indifferent to? A lot, I would imagine. If I asked you to name like all of the best Superman comics, you might be able to name 5 or 6 or 7, or if you're a really big comic book dude, maybe you can name 10 or 15. But considering this is a comic book series that's existed since the 30s, you should be able to name like 40. Like you should be able to name a shit ton, but you really can't, because oftentimes it's just kind of okay, and especially in the modern era. Again, haven't read the last 5 years, fine, but it's not like the 20 years before that was just fucking amazing. I mean, you had the New 52, which was basically a massive failure. Everybody hated the New 52. New 52 felt like more of a product than almost anything. There was a couple of people who benefited. I think Aquaman probably benefited from the New 52. There was actually some pretty cool stories with Aquaman. There were some that were pretty good. Superman was not one of the characters who benefited from New 52. He was awful.
He was not a like character.
Awful in New 52. There's so much so they had to retcon that it wasn't even him. So it's like, yeah, I mean, I mean, they did, how many years did they do New 52 for? It was a bit.
10? Something like that.
Was it 10? Was it that long? Jesus, I didn't even think it was
I don't
that
think it
long.
was that long.
No, I don't think it was that long.
That was just a guess.
Yeah, and then that's another thing, the constant reboots. They did Flashpoint. Like I feel like they've done Flashpoint like 2 or 3 times at this point. Because you had what was the one that happened after New 52?
Rebirth.
There we are. They had and Rebirth. Rebirth wasn't that great. I mean, like just New 52 and Rebirth. That's like fucking over a decade by itself of just not really that great stuff. It's like even like I mean, if even if the last 5 years of Superman comics were just peak shit, that doesn't eliminate those 2 reboots. Like that doesn't go away anywhere. That's still a bunch of shitty stuff that we had for years. So I mean, that's got to be hit or miss. I'm not disregarding the fact that there's good Superman stories, but that's why it's going in hit or miss. Because if I'm just leaning on the bad stuff, it would be trash. Hit or miss means there's a bunch of trash shit and there's some really good shit. That's what hit or miss is. So I think that it fits there. I don't see how you could put it in great. You would have to ignore so many bad things, especially considering that we're going to get onto some comics in this list that have like 0 bad storylines, and it does not feel right to put characters like Superman up there with them. Because there are some straight up characters we're going to run into that have one writer throughout the whole thing, a consistent story, consistent characterization, like really, really great, like all the stuff we're talking about, all the stuff that we made that list on, there are multiple characters on here that have all that shit. And how could you put Superman next to that when there's so many problems with him over the years? That was a legitimate question, by the way. That wasn't
No,
that wasn't rhetorical.
No, I was thinking of an answer. I would say, obviously, it depends how you want to take it, but I would say it's harder to judge him compared to characters who have a single writer, because him being debatably the most popular or known superhero kind of is like working against him to have good writing, because he's going to have so much written about him. So he's like, if Superman was a less popular character, he would probably be better written.
I don't buy that. No, it was he's poorly. No, because most DC, it's the unpopular characters in DC are pretty poorly written as well. It has nothing to do with that. It's how Marvel and DC. It's Marvel and DC's entire philosophy when it comes to writing comics. It's the fact that you could just have like, oh, this dude will come in and write him for 5 years. What do you want to do? Okay, whatever. You have editors coming in deciding what you can do and what you can't do. Oh, you're gonna give Spider-Man a family. One editor can come in and say, oh, you know what? I think that we're not gonna sell as many comics if he has a family. We gotta bring him back. Let's do the One More Day storyline, and the writer has no choice but to do it. Batgirl, they set up for years Batwoman about to get married with her lesbian girlfriend, and then somebody at one of the editors is like, oh, you know, I don't think we should have a lesbian married couple in DC. Now all of a sudden she doesn't get married and the fucking relationship falls apart. Batman's about to get married to Catwoman. They set that up forever just for it to not happen because they're scared that it'll change the storyline. Like this is stuff that constantly happens. The 3 things I just named. That all those happened within the last, I don't know, when was One More Day? 2 of those happened within the last 10 years. I think One More Day might have been more than 10 years. But
it happened relatively recently.
Yeah, those are 3 massive pain in the ass things that happened all within the last like 10 or so years of storytelling. If that happened in something like One Piece, that wasn't like a great universe, not when I say great, I don't mean good. I mean like a massive universe with a bunch of different writers. If you had 3 major disappointments like that happening in one single universe, you would have lost all your fucking viewers already. You would have lost all your readers.
I would say one thing though is Superman having a general idea of people have an idea of what Superman is like, a general characterization. While having so many different writers and interpretation is actually a good showing of like his writing. Him having a consistent character.
Fine, but I don't think is that going to get it out of mixed bag?
I think yeah, because it's kind of impressive if you consider how different he's been written, how many people have written him.
No, but he's also been written out of character. As I said, the New 52.
But
so even that's not true. He has
It's
been
not
written
compli-
extremely out of character.
Again, but if you ask people to give a generalization of Superman, people have an idea, and I think it's fairly consistent for most people.
Not really.
Given
Look
that
at the well. First off, people's idea of who they believe that Superman is does not make the character good or bad. That just makes him well known. I mean, people
characterization.
You can ask 100 people about a terrible character and what their characterization is. They can give you a relatively similar answer if he's just a well known person. That doesn't mean that the character is good or bad. That just means that people know him. And I would even disagree with that, because then you have things like the Snyderverse, which has Superman be a very different character, and he has so many fans who believe that was an accurate portrayal of Superman, and that's nothing like what Superman should actually be like or is like most of the times in the comics. And now you have the new Superman movie come out, which you and me both agree is pretty good interpretation of Superman that people are shitting on because they don't like. They interpret people's idea of who this character is wildly different. And
to be fair, in the Snyderverse, in Man of Steel specifically, he does actually act a lot like Superman. It's just everything after it gets really, really, really fucking bad.
They're talking about the whole thing. I mean, it's not just they're talking about that, but it doesn't matter. I don't see how it's a quality. It's like it means that something's good or bad just because people have a similar idea of who the character is. Even if I agreed with that, which I don't. I don't think that you could put us like I don't think you could put any character out in the ether and ask people their opinions on the character and just have everyone be unanimously on the same page of what their characterization of that character is. Like, you can't do that for Superman. You can't do that for anybody. So I don't think it's a quality thing. I just think it's something that's not possible. Wait,
you
hold
have
up.
2 super
I
chats.
know. Let me see. I think I already read M. Porky. Yeah, I already read M. Porky's. Oh, no, here we are. Okay. Would you consider ranking the characters by adaptation? Don't rank comic book Superman. Consider Christopher Reeves on the DCAU. Same for the other Marvel or DC. I mean, in this stream, no, not in this. I mean, this is comic book. I originally wanted this stream to be, like ranking the MCU movies, all of them. And then I put a vote to it on what people wanted, and people agreed that they wanted to talk about the comic book characters. So now we're doing the comic book characters and not the movie characters. But I was originally going to do like all the MCU movies, and then maybe like next week I was going to do like all the DCU movies and kind of get through it like that. And then maybe I was going to eventually get to the comics. But everyone wanted to do the comics this week, so that's why we're doing this. So I'm not going to change the rules slightly through the thing and now be like, okay, now we're going to talk about. I mean, half these dudes don't even have movies. More than half these characters don't have movies. So it wouldn't really make a whole lot of sense to do that. All right, let's see. Solar Hyper, in your recent Tekken video where you covered Cole for the first time, can I ask where you got him resisting having his personal gravity being messed with? Oh shit, where was that at? Fuck, dude, you're asking me to answer something that I did a week ago. I think it had something to do with the Beast. I'll have to get back to you. I'll be honest with you. I have to get back to you. There was something that I saw in the series where I want to say it was something to do with the Beast where he tried to affect him, but I can't tell you without guessing, and it's going to sound like a lie. So let me get back to you later, Solar, on that one, because I can't remember. I actually think, I think, didn't you ask that in the Discord earlier in the week and someone answered you? And he answered you correctly, I believe, which is why I didn't reply to your message. It was either in Discord or it was in the actual video, and he replied to you correctly. So I was like, okay, he already answered it, so I didn't do it. But I don't remember off the top of my head what it was. But yeah, I'll get back to you later in the week and if I remember it. But you gotta realize, in a single week, I make 3 or 4 videos, and each of those videos cover 1 universe and 4 characters, which means every week I'm going over at least 20 characters and 20 universes. So my mind slips all the time, constantly with shit that like I'll talk about one thing and then you ask me 2 days later and I'm like, shit, where did I see that? I don't know. So it's I don't know. If I'm super into the universe, and I'm always talking about it on this, or the more I talk about it, the more I kind of get a grasp on it, and I can repeat it like on normal questions. Like I've done Helldivers so many times and Doom so many times. You can ask me any question, I can answer it. But I've only done Cole once, which means I've only lightly tapped into it, and I haven't like spent a large portion of time constantly thinking of the same stuff about it over and over again, to where it's like it's just like stained into my memory. But I don't know. Maybe at some point, if I use it enough, okay. Oh shit! My audio just did some weird stuff. Can you guys hear me? Hello, hello.
Yeah,
hello?
Yeah, we hear you now.
Okay.
It did cut out for
That's
I thought it was
weird.
just me. Damn.
No.
I didn't hear anything.
Okay, yeah, no.
where
It,
were
like
we
I heard
put
myself
Superman?
talking in my headphones. That was very strange.
Man.
I have one final argument.
What's up?
What were we?
I have one final argument for Superman.
All right. Well,
Yeah.
well, before you say it, it has to. I mean, I don't think it matters. Like
It's
we've
a
already
financial
gone. We've
argument.
already gone over the idea. You cannot have. You have not had a defense that counters any of the stuff I've said about the stuff that's bad about it. Even if you say there's a comic book, where Superman jumps out of the comic and blows me, and it was awesome, and it made me see God, that wouldn't change the fact that there's so much bad stuff in there. And you haven't even disagreed with me on that. You've agreed with me on all of that. So I don't think there's really much you could say that would make it not be a hit or miss just based on that alone.
My argument is, Mr. Porky paid for it to be great.
Oh no.
Did he now?
He did.
Did he now?
Yeah.
Superman for great because, like the others said, I didn't think he was paying for it to be great. I thought he was paying for it because he wanted us to see his opinion on it being great.
No, that's my
No, he
personal
capitalized right.
interpretation.
Yeah, because great's it's capitalized right here. He was giving his opinion on whether or not it was great. I don't think he was telling me put it in great. Because, like the others said, he's a paragon, will kill the mythical.
He said, "No, I paid for you to hear my opinion."
Yeah.
No, fuck it off.
Straight up.
Fuck's sake.
Yeah. Come on, man.
Oh,
I'm gonna put him. Oh, look, I'm gonna put him in hit
I
or
would say
miss.
4 great.
What do you-
I would say that's a weird way to phrase that.
I'm gonna put him in hit or miss. I'll put him over Invincible because I do think overall,
Yeah.
like I find
what I
him
was
less
wondering.
boring than Invincible just in general, and I do think that he's interesting. If written correctly, where I just really don't think that Invincible's interesting at all, even when he is written well. So I'll put him above, but he is a hit and miss. Honestly, it's going to be really... Look, there are characters from Marvel and DC on this list that I really, really like, and they're still probably going to go in hit and miss based on my favorite Marvel character is the Hulk. His ass to me is still going in hit or miss. Marvel and DC just fuck up their characters too often.
I do agree.
Yeah, there's so many conflicting ideas and whatnot for how this character is
Next
to the
up,
point where it's not consistent.
Yeah, no,
Sorry.
it's not great. No, you're good. Next up, we have Hellboy, and okay, there's no way for me to say this without people thinking that I'm biased. I'm not biased. I think that out of everything that I've ever read comic book, I think Hellboy is probably the best. I think that he's the best character. I think his stories are the best thematically. I think he has one of the best arcs. I think he's the most consistently written, given that he's written by one dude the entire series. I like the fact that he has a beginning, middle, and an end to his story, which is something that Marvel and DC do not have, which sucks because all of these stories go on for way too long, even though they've oftentimes they'll run out of ideas long time ago and they just still keep doing it, and it's like nothing is happening. There's no retcons, no reboots. Anything that happens in a Hellboy comic stays happening. Like, it's a permanent thing. If a character gets his arm chopped off or whatever, that character doesn't have an arm, and that's permanent. At one point in this series, he gets sent to hell, and he's in hell for the rest of the series. He never leaves and goes back. He leaves his wife in the real world, and he goes to hell, and he never sees her again, ever. There's never a point where he revisits his wife on Earth. There's things that happen in this series are permanent, and it feels real. And the show is really good at making you feel something for the characters that it introduces, even characters that aren't really in it for all that long. The villains are amazing. This is one of the best comics, probably my favorite comic, and I don't do favorites very often. I'm not going to say it's my favorite, but it's up there. It's one of them, and I honestly think it's probably the best written comic on this list. There might be one that rival it, kind of, but for the most, yeah, I would say Hellboy goes into mythical. Is there anybody here who disagrees with that?
I'll say it fits really well, actually. I also like Hellboy's character throughout the series, and it doesn't have any inconsistencies like Marvel, DC. So I say it's pretty much the best of anything you can get, really.
I haven't read the comic series.
Liam, what kind of cheap whore do you think I am?
A very one apparently.
Superman to great. Two euros.
Made up currency.
Not even American dollars.
What is
just
this? What is this
£2?
mythical currency? I've never heard of this.
£2.
$2.
£2. A pound is a weight, sir. I can't spend a pound. Okay, that's what is that?
I mean, you can spend a pound of gold.
What is that
Yeah,
worth? What is that worth here? 50 cents? Like what's the?
According to Google, $2.71. So it's actually
One pound is $2.
1 pound is $2.
Yeah, $2.71 according to Google.
Okay. All right.
That's. I guess it's bigger than the $1 bill, but then again,
This character does not belong in great. Absolutely does not.
It's
belong
mythical.
in great. There we go.
I
It's
didn't
mythical.
want to push it too much.
All right, now you need someone to pay
He's
to
not.
move him
He's
back.
not great. You don't belong in great. But again, does anyone disagree that Hellboy should be in mythical?
Nah.
If there's any disagreements, I'll hear them out. We'll talk about it. But if no one agrees, then
I haven't read the comics. Only watched the movies.
okay. He's nothing. He's nothing like he is in the comics and the movies. Just to
Yeah,
be
I know.
clear.
Yeah, I know he's completely
He's
different. That's why I didn't
completely
even, like,
different.
bring
He's
it up.
two totally different dudes. Like they're not.
The
even
movies
close.
are pretty great. I will say that.
I like the movies, but they're you just have to realize they're two like completely
they're not
different
even the same
characters and
I've-
stories.
My friend read the comics and he described me. He said they're not the same at all.
No.
They look kind of
They're
similar,
not the same.
and that's it.
No,
These
the thing that I know, the only thing that really like where I'm like, well, no, there's a couple of things, but I don't like that they make him dumb in the movies because he's not dumb. He's incredibly intelligent, and I'm not a huge fan of the whole daddy issues thing that they would do with him in all the movies, where like he's got this whole like they keep making his story about a boy who needs to become a man. They did it in the Guillermo del Toro movies, Guillermo del Toro, and they did it in the one that came after. I don't think you pronounce the G in Spanish. And then they have the one that comes after with the fucking dude from Stranger Things, and all of them he was just like a little boy. Hellboy to not great tier below Superman.
What the fuck?
That's
No.
That's
he's
just-
trolling.
That's
Let's
just
not
being
ban him.
spiteful, sir.
Ban him.
That's just
ban
being
him.
spiteful.
Permaban.
Send him to the Shadow Realm.
That hurts me, man. That's not cool.
But he actually gave a real currency.
That's not cool.
My
Why
currency's
doesn't
better
matter.
than your
He's
currency. I
trying to
don't
be
wanna hear it, bro.
spiteful.
Why would you do that?
I don't accept spite.
Why would you do that? That's well, you're not.
If
You're just,
anything, I'm not.
why are you just trying to hurt me? I don't understand why you would do that. Okay.
Punch him in the dick, why won't you?
Let's see. Batman is not.
Wow, way to shoot the guy in the foot, man. Like, come on.
That's crazy.
You didn't have to do all that.
That's crazy. That's crazy. That's painful. All right, but yeah. So no one disagrees that he should be in mythical. So he's gonna stay in mythical in our hearts. All right. Next up, we have Judge Dredd. Has anyone read a Judge Dredd comic ever?
No.
No.
Okay.
One.
So
No.
I really like Judge Dredd, but I'll say this. It's so long. It's so long. I have just accepted the fact that I'll never catch up to it ever. Never in a hot like you. I don't know. Someone looks if someone has Google on them, which everyone does. How many issues of Judge Dredd are there? Like, if someone can answer me that, let me
There's
know.
like a shit ton. There's like a one.
There are,
thousands
I
of
believe
them.
there's thousands. Yeah.
Let's see,
Put Hellboy
Yeah.
back in mythical. Thank you, Doug.
Wants to load.
Thank you. Awesome. 1 cent more. I love it.
Yeah.
There are
Literally 1 cent more.
according to Google.
Capitalism. That's how that works.
2,422.
It's like an auction.
Yep.
Okay. Let me see what's up. No win. Blah blah. Blah.
Be smart with my money.
All right. So I don't. But
Google's fucking
as
listening.
as far as what I have read, which is all I can really talk about when it comes to Judge Dredd, which is it's enough. It's not everything. It's not even close to
There are
everything. But
2,442 issues
Yeah.
of
yeah,
Judge
you're
Dredd.
never gonna
What?
read. That's longer than One Piece. That's considerably longer than One
What
Piece.
the fuck?
Oh no.
Yeah, no, it's been the comic's been out for a really long time. Actually, one cool thing about the comic is that Judge Dredd, the time passes in the comic relative to the real world. So, like, since the comic's been out since I don't remember what year it came out. Was it the 60s or the 80s? I don't remember. I might be the 70s.
Yeah, 70s.
It was 70s. Okay, I just jumped around it.
in the middle area.
So when the comic first came out, he was like in his like mid to late 20s, and every year he has aged 1 year. So he is currently in the comic's still going. He is currently in the comics like a 70-year-old man or whatever. Like he has aged appropriately, and he looks like an old man now in the comics.
That
Damn.
bumps it up
That's
one
impressive.
rank for me
Gotta take care of dogs.
just by itself.
No, it's a
Like,
it's really
that's
cool.
impressive.
It's really cool. Yeah, it's basically like, I forgot the exact distribution or whatever. I didn't use the right word, but it's like, you know, whenever the comic takes place, whenever the comic comes out, the year that comic takes place is like, you know, 150 or whatever years in the future. Again, I don't remember the exact year, and then it just stays at that point at all times. You know, so if it's the year 2000, then it was the year, you know, 2200 or whatever, and then the year 2025, it was the year 2225 in the comic, and that's just kind of how it works. So yeah, it's really cool. I do like it, and you actually get to see the character age and get older and all
Does
that.
that mean consistency is like literally max? Because you can't get more consistent than him literally aging.
Well, that doesn't necessarily mean that doesn't necessarily mean the stories are consistent. Based on what I've read, the stories are very consistent. It's really good. It was mostly
Some are, some not.
It was mostly written by one guy for a long time, but the thing is that he has been replaced by other writers, but it's always like one or two dudes. Like it's never like the Hulk will have like, here's 5 years where this guy writes them, and here's 5 years where this guy writes them, here's a year where this guy writes them, and then this. When it comes to Judge Dredd, you'll have this guy will write it for like 20 years, and then it'll be this guy, it'll be the same dude, and then he'll also add another writer, and it'll be both of them, and then the dude who wrote it originally will stop writing it, and then the dude who is his writing partner will continue for another 10 years. And then that guy will get another writing partner, and that's kind of, it's almost like it's passed on to the next person, as opposed to them just constantly switching writers. And the writers are usually on the comic for like a decade. Like it's not a short amount of time. So there have been like 3 or 4 writers, probably more than that, on Judge Dredd, but it's remained shockingly consistent even for the number of writers that have been doing it.
Now, like for the rest of us who haven't like read the comics and whatnot, like it's consistent, but like, is it good?
Yes.
You know. Okay. Just
yeah, it's good.
Flat
It's good.
out.
Like
Is it,
Judge
like,
Dredd himself
consistently
is an amazing character. He's also like a stand-in for basically like unchecked. It's kind of he is. This is the part where you really can't talk about Judge Dredd and not get political, because it is actually a political comic. It's essentially Judge Dredd is about as right-wing as it gets without being just straight up evil. Like he's essentially the idea or the concept of law and order and right-wing values of authority and you know, the sort of hard on crime sort of ideas all jumbled into a character. The idea of him is that he's completely unwavering. No matter what, he will put down the same. He's actually an unchanging character. Like he almost never changes throughout the series. But they do this weird thing where there's no character arcs, but he's not bad. Like at no point is he ever like a bad character. You know exactly what Judge Dredd will do in any moment, in any situation that he's put in. And it's interesting and fascinating to watch him do those things in those situations. And there's also like really, someone's mic is like really bad. I want to say it's Dracula.
Yeah, it's probably mine.
Dracula?
You gotta mute your guy. You gotta mute your shit, man. It's really bad. Okay. No, there's there's also like really, really great villains. Like Judge Death is awesome. Like there's a lot of really, really cool villains and like crazy stuff. And the history of the world is really, really deep and stuff. Like there was a fucking nuclear apocalypse that happened because of a massive world war that Dredd himself was a part of. And it was like there's like all kinds of really cool backstory. In terms of how like dense the world is, I would say that it's kind of like Cyberpunk in terms of like its density and how interesting just the history of this world is. It's really, really cool. It's a very, very, very good comic. The only reason why I wouldn't put it at something like mythical is because I just haven't read enough of it to say that it's that good. Somebody in the stream earlier said that it's mostly consistent. Have you actually read it? Maybe you've read more than me. Someone said that earlier. Who said that? Somebody answer. Nobody's gonna.
I got here.
Okay.
I don't remember.
Whatever. I guess they're just
saying
ghosts.
that.
They left. I'm hearing voices.
They died.
All right. See you, Dark.
Schizo Ruga confirmed.
Yeah, I'm just hearing voices. Judge Death is awesome in himself. He values that all life is capable of crime and therefore punishable by death. Yeah, that's basically his entire thing. He's essentially the most extreme version of he's not the most extreme version. He is a corrupted version of the ideals of Judge Dredd. Is Judge Death. To like an insane degree, but he's also like he's a character from another like timeline or universe, and he just shows up and just starts fucking up everybody's shit. And he just wants to. Who are the other ones? It's not just Judge Death. There's like 3 of them. Judge Death is the most memorable one, but there's Judge Death. There's one who's like a plague type guy whose name I'm forgetting, and they make up like a team. If someone remembers that team name,
I'll look it up.
But it's pretty cool. Yeah, there's like 3 or 4 of them. And they come to just start fucking up the timeline. That's a really cool storyline with Judge Dredd. It's good. It's good. So if there's no one else more knowledgeable about the character than me, I'll put him at great. Definitely over Superman. That's not even a question.
Dark Judges? Or...
I say
maybe.
Judge Dredd. I do know a little bit of Judge Dredd, but I only watch the movies. But like. I do feel like, from what my exposure to Judge Dredd, I say he's pretty good, like great.
Yeah, I got Judge.
Like, I can't think of anything bad of him.
Judge Fire and Judge Mortis.
Judge Fire, yeah. Oh yeah, Judge Mortis. That was one of them. Okay, yeah, I remember him. Judge Fire, I'm trying to remember. I'm having trouble remembering him. But yeah,
there's also Judge Fear.
That's true. That's not, like I said, I think there's 4. But they're like kind of like the Horsemen of the Apocalypse in a sort of way. They're kind of like at least slightly inspired by the Horsemen of the Apocalypse. Someone asked if we're doing the comics or the characters. We're doing the characters mostly. But their stories are kind of important. Like if there's a character, for instance, we're gonna get to. I see one in particular that's like a great character, but has just absolutely dog shit stories. You can't just completely like throw that out. That's kind of a big deal. But luckily, Judge Dredd is a really, really good character that also has really interesting stories. As far as I've gotten, again, over 2,000 issues, haven't read them. Maybe they start becoming shit, but they were really good. The ones that I got through. Superman is not great. Has to be Gay Bates, the most inspirational modern hero ever, deserves to be at the top. Just sheer influence. We don't do influence here. That's not a qualifier for quality. And actually, we didn't put him out great. We put him at mixed bag, and then someone paid for him to go up to great.
Yeah, I don't know who that guy was,
which is a position that doesn't really deserve, based on the conversation.
Some smart guy just saw past everyone's logic and knew where he belongs.
No, he didn't see past it. He was just a cheapskate who was just
cheapskate.
Yeah, super cheapskate. Not you, Doug.
No, he was a smart guy. He realized where Superman belongs.
He wasn't. He tried to pay in fucking euros, which is
sounds
weird.
British.
Yeah.
What? Then he was like, "Oh, these retards don't even know what a pound coin is. They think it's a euro."
Coins aren't pounds. Coins are much lighter than pounds.
Stones, okay, I'm not hearing it.
Yeah, coins are much lighter than pounds. I better hurry up. I better hurry up and cash that fucking check that he sent me, because their money won't be fucking worth anything in the morning. Their whole goddamn country is falling apart.
He, not me, obviously.
He, not Liam, who's in the chat. He didn't do that.
Yeah, it's him.
You know what I find funny about like that type of currency is how it's like very like cryptocurrency scams where like it just like absolutely goes down to the shithole.
Not really.
Like,
it's actually
after a week.
It's been fairly consistently going down.
Yeah. Okay. Let's next up we have Spawn. Okay, I'm just gonna straight up say I'm biased when it comes to Spawn. I don't think he's as great as other people think he is. So I'm going to mostly step back on this one. I think he's just fine. I wouldn't say he's necessarily... I feel like there should be something in between hit or miss and great. Because I don't think it's great, but I don't necessarily think it's hit or miss.
Mid.
Yeah.
You can have mid.
Yeah.
So who's
I kind of do.
read
Let me
the
see.
comics?
I've read quite a bit of them. Let me see. Add row below. We'll add another one because even if we don't put them there, I think there should be something because hit or miss straight to great just is kind of a jump. We'll do all right. These are ones that are all right. That sound good?
My argument is
Sounds fine,
even his original concept was just like off-brand emo Spider-Man.
Well, yeah. Well, the idea he's kind of like he at first. Ooh, that was kind of loud. At first, his whole shtick, he was just another one of these characters that was just a super edgy '90s hero. But his starting, like his origin, is just inherently cool and interesting. You know how he was murdered. He was like a mercenary. He was murdered or whatever, and then he lost his family, and then he made a deal with the devil, came back, but his family, but like it was like he made a deal with the devil, but the devil didn't give him exactly what he wants. The whole thing, and then he became like this hellspawn and stuff. I get it. Like it's a strong start, but I don't feel like McFarlane had amazing ideas for how to continue that story on for years and years and years to come, and they started getting like weird and not nearly as good. Like I think the comic was pretty good when it was a pretty low sort of low stakes situation where he was like dealing with serial killers and crime bosses in
a street tier hero.
Yeah. When it started getting into like fighting God and angels and they were like blowing up fucking planets and shit, I was like, okay, this is getting stupid. And it really does. And there was always like a problem with the concept of like if you really jump into the devil's mind, whose name is slipping me right now. He's not the devil. He's
Malbogia?
Yes, Malbogia. If you actually jump into Malbogia's mind, it really doesn't make any sense. Like the whole idea is like, oh, I'm gonna turn you into a hellspawn, and you're gonna become this thing, and you're gonna work for me. But then, so I'm gonna give you this amazing power that I can't take back for some reason, and you're just gonna choose not to listen to me because I didn't give you the thing that you wanted. And now I just have this rogue fucking hellspawn running around. And it's like, well, like, what did you think was going to happen, Malbogia? Like, it doesn't even make sense. Like, what? You had no way of controlling Spawn.
Like,
you gave him that much power?
You gave him a ton of power to the point that he was stronger than you. And I mean, shit, his cape has the ability to absorb the souls of the people that he kills. And it slowly gives him more power than Malbogia has. And he's capable of killing Malbogia. And it's like, why did you give this person this? Like the concept of the hero does not make sense to me. Like it's a cool start, but then as the series came on, there's just so many holes in the idea of the universe, and I don't think that Simmons is interesting beyond his initial introduction where he's
character's not interesting. His story, his origin
his origin is interesting. Well, his character would have been if the story was just like the revenge story. He comes back, he sees the whole thing. He goes after Malbogia and tries to protect his family from a Violator. And like if that's all it was, like if the movie was like the comic story, I'm not saying the movie is good, but I'm saying just that story, like I'm gonna protect my family and do this thing, and then it just ended, and that was like a nice like chunk of story that you got that was maybe 50 issues long or whatever. I think you would have had a really, really solid comic thing, but it just keeps going, and it's like you really don't have any more stories to tell, but you just keep going. and it's just yeah, that's my main problem with Spawn. I don't think it's bad, but I think the best thing about it is probably the art. And that's not good when that's the best thing about it.
Not for his story, no.
It's carried by cool.
It is. It's very much. It's even when Jesus, I just said his name and I'm forgetting. The writer of Spawn. Starts with an M. I'm forgetting his name. Anyway, it doesn't matter. I just said it. Rewind the video. But yeah, even when he wrote Spider-Man comics and stuff, he wrote for Marvel. I don't know if he wrote for DC. I think he did. His art was always really cool. Like that was the thing that he excelled in, was drawing like super, super interesting, like cool looking art. And that's why like there are actual images of Spawn that look where there's like action scenes where his like literally how his body is positioned looks identical to how McFarlane to how McFarlane did the Spider-Man comics. And it looks cool in the Spider-Man comics. It looks cool in the Spawn comics. So it does look cool. The action scenes look cool. The demon designs are hit or miss. I actually think Mel Bozier looks stupid.
Yes.
He looks unique.
Yeah, the weird mouse looking, like the weird head shape. It's weird.
The
He's
head
very
shape is weird.
disproportionate.
The head shape is weird. The fact that he has like this weird beard gut, I think looks like he doesn't look like a cool demon. He
Literally looks like that
really
gremlin.
He looks like he looks like a lesser demon almost.
He doesn't
like
look
he's supposed to be the weaker side of things.
He doesn't look like he owns an entire circle of hell. Like there's like I think there's like 12 circles of hell or something in the Spawn universe. He's over one whole circle. But he doesn't honestly I think Violator looks cooler than he does. But there's some weird designs in there. It's just it's not bad. I wouldn't say it's hit or miss because I never like there's actually things I could say about Superman that are just straight up bad. There's actually things I could say about Invincible that I just think are straight up bad, not good. There isn't a whole lot I could say that's bad. I just don't care. I'm not invested in the story as I go through it.
I say it's
all right. I think that sounds
like Spawn as a character is cool, but the stories are overall not particularly anything crazy.
It's what I would describe as empty calories after a while. Like you're
Empty
just sort of
calories.
absorbing content at that point.
And I just sort of want to
Yeah.
reinforce, like, again, the deal itself that makes him possible doesn't make sense, like, right from the get-go. Why would he give him this deal to begin with? Yeah.
So someone is saying, even though they're saying they're doing the characters, they're only talking about the stories. I don't know if you got, like, plug in your ears, but we've been talking about the characters on literally all of these. We've mentioned the characters for everybody, so I don't know what you mean that we're only talking about the stories.
Really big part of the character.
Well, we are talking about like I literally just talked about how we're talking about how the characters weren't consistent for Superman and how it constantly changes. That's all character stuff. We talked about the character for Judge Dredd and how he is literally just a stand-in for political ideology, but he's basically exists for the sole purpose of exploring a particular political ideology. I literally just talked about Spawn and his origin and how his character basically stops being interesting after his origin because there's not really a whole lot for him to do after that point but protect his family because that's really all there is to him. Like I don't understand. Like I think this is the same guy who said that I was the Ben Shapiro shit. I think that's the exact same dude. I just feel like he's just not listening to what we're saying at all.
Wait. Oh, he's 100% not listening.
We've talked about all of the characters at their characters. So we talked about Invincible being boring. Like I don't like him having an actual boring character.
Who's the guy who was
boring?
What's up?
Who's the guy asking to talk about characters? I remember the name of the dude.
Null Assault.
It is not the same guy as before. It's a different guy.
Okay. All right. Well, I thought I don't really see as the names. I look like the picture was similar. Whatever. It's fine. Sorry.
I know the other guy just straight up said that he left, so that's why I know he's gone.
I got you. Okay. My bad. No, I am the same dude. Nope. He said he's the same dude. I'm pretty sure. I thought he was the same dude. I just look at the pictures. I'm not looking at the names. So I don't know what
The guy was the truth from the bat was the guy talking shit about Ben Shapiro and whatnot.
No, it was this guy. He just said he's the same dude. He himself has said he's the same dude. I saw his picture. He's the same picture. It's the same dude. I don't know who the bat is.
It's the same dude.
Yeah.
Wait, a Noel Assault talked about the Ben Shapiro?
Yeah, he said that my stuff about the American way and how I mentioned the thing about the American way because I was like an alt-right or whatever because I mentioned that the philosophy of the character was changed for corporate reasons and suddenly that makes me a political pawn or something. I don't know. It was a weird take.
I remember that. I just thought that was a completely different dude who I was also talking to.
I think two people were agreeing.
Oh, there are two people at the same time? Well, that makes sense.
Yeah, is what it is. Now, people need to chill out. Like, not everything is. I don't spend a lot of time online just in general outside of my channel. I don't like watch any political stuff for the most part. I keep up with news, but that's about it. But like the idea, like I can't say anything that's even slightly political one way or the other or give my opinion on anything without being called alt fucking right when I'm not even entirely right. Like there's a lot of stuff that I believe in that are considered left-wing ideologies as well. Like just fuck off, you know? Like it's like whatever.
Did you just try to name one and couldn't think of it?
What's up?
Did you just try to think of a? Did you try to name a left-wing ideology and didn't think of it?
No, I just said fuck off because I have opinions on both. Like I'm not entirely 100% against abortion all the time. Like there's a lot of stuff that I wouldn't necessarily be completely against. Now I'm not as for abortion as a lot of left-wing people are, but I'm not as against it as a lot of right-wing people are. I think that there's actually legitimate times where it should be necessary. I think there's too heavy of a reliance on it for sure, and I think that there's some bad stuff in there. But I think that most of this stuff is, I think that basically any political thing that you do, any law that you pass, is going to screw over somebody. Like if you completely ban abortion, you're screwing over a lot of people who really shouldn't be, and if you allow it to be completely illegal, you're dipping into some pretty fucked up territory. And it's like there's no and people feel like they have to take the extreme positions because they don't want to give any ground to the other side, and I think that's stupid. I understand why it happens, because oftentimes you can't give any ground to the other side, because if you give any ground to the other side, they'll try and take more. So you kind of have to become an extreme on one side or the other.
A lot of people are absolutists too when it comes to that position.
Yeah, but I think the way that the politics works in general has made them absolutist more so than they are necessarily absolutists
I'm in it
themselves.
on like a belief level.
You just gotta not play the
like
game.
their reasoning for it is
Well, that's the thing. I don't play the game. It's people like him who come in the fucking chat and try playing the game. I don't play the game. I don't give a shit about I care way more about local politics than I do about national politics, because local politics affects your life far more than national politics does. People generally kind of undersell the importance of local politics. Like if I live in Louisiana, if I could not live my life the same way that I do if I moved, up 500 miles in any direction. I need to stay here if I want to live my life in a certain way. I can go to Texas and live basically the same way. I can go to certain places, but I don't want to leave the South. Because if I leave the South, my entire lifestyle has to change, because the politics and the rules and the laws are completely different. And I don't like it. I like the laws where I live. So
it's a very American thing, though, just because you're like
the concept of states. Yeah.
Yeah, well, I just meant because like your state's as big as my country, so like your local, what you would consider local, and I would consider national, are actually like similar size in terms of population.
The population of Louisiana is very, very low, very low. But I don't know the full population of Louisiana, but it's not even close. I think London has more people in it than the entire state of Louisiana, despite the fact that Louisiana is almost the same size as England. Like it's mostly forest land and swamps in Louisiana, with a couple of cities here and there. But yeah, it's just people just need to stop. I think there's a certain defensiveness that comes with politics, where it's like, okay, maybe this dude, this null assault, maybe he's like a totally decent, totally good dude, and he might be like a little bit of a left wing guy, but he's just buried himself in so much political bullshit that the moment I say something that's on the other side even a little bit, suddenly he just like jumps to all that bullshit that's on there, and then he puts that shit on me. What did I do? I didn't say all that shit. And it's like, you just get off the fucking internet every once in a while, and you realize that you can have perfectly reasonable conversations with people, and it doesn't have to get it doesn't have to be how it is. Like, just the internet's a fucking toxic, horrible place. Don't go on it unless you have to be on it. I work on it. That's it. I'm not on it other than that. I use YouTube for movie reviews and game reviews and for stuff that's coming out, and my own channel, and that's it. I don't really deal with that whole side of the internet. I think that's a healthier way to live overall. So
I mean, like, don't shoot your clientele either, but like, go touch pussy hair. Go touch pussy hair.
No, I've said that.
Don't touch grass.
I've literally said go touch pussy.
I know.
That's my...
I know. I'm quoting you.
Okay. Well, thank you for quoting me. No, but well, no, I mean, it's not. See, that's it's like, don't shoot your. That's another thing. It's like, what am I supposed to do? Am I supposed to not say the things that I want to say because I'm scared that I'm gonna lose some people?
No,
like I had the when I made the video. I think it was the Running Man video, and I went on like a whole spiel about Britain and how. And like it's just I actually found it more funny than anything else. But I had people sending me messages. Funny. Yeah, right. I had people sending me messages saying that like, oh, you lost a viewer, congratulations, blah 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 blah. And I'm
But
like, dude, look,
why? I think that I'm from England. And I think it was hilarious. I laughed.
yeah, I mean, yeah, look, but that's the thing. Like, it's weird. It's like so much of YouTube feels toothless, and I think it's a lot. It's oftentimes probably because the people don't want to step one side over there because they are afraid that they'll lose a bunch of people. But then you just can't. Like, what am I supposed to do? Just go around and just have no real opinions on anything ever because I'm scared that I'm gonna lose people.
It becomes sterile.
Yeah, just like I don't know. Like, who would want to live like that? That sucks. No, I want to get to a place where anyone can give any opinion they want. We can have a reasonable conversation with it, and you don't do that by hiding under the fucking table. You do that by sharing the opinions, and whoever wants to leave, there's the door. They're free to go. All right. Sorry, I was drinking my water. All right. So does anyone think Spawn should be anywhere other than all right?
No.
No.
Null says he did not call me a political pawn. I didn't say you were calling me a political pawn. I said you were trying to turn me into a political pawn. Essentially, a mouthpiece, a mouthpiece for a political ideology that I do not prescribe to. You literally said that I'm like every other alt-right. Or not that I'm like every other alt-right. I don't want to misdefine you, but you compared what I was saying to things that the alt-right would say. So you were turning me into a political pawn. You didn't say I was a political pawn.
That's talking about the effect of the spell, not the incantation spoken.
Exactly. That's a really good way of putting it, actually. It's a very good but nerdy way of putting it. All right.
Which is a very nerdy channel, to be fair.
Yeah. What? This ain't nerdy. No, there ain't no. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? We touch pussy hairs here. Okay. So okay. So to answer the question, anyone thinks that Spawn should go anywhere other than all right?
No.
No disagreements. Everyone's super awesome with it. Okay. Next up, we have Jackie Estacado, The Darkness. I really, really like this comic book, and this is a good example of how I am not biased. It does not deserve to being great. It's okay. I like it. I enjoy it. Much like Spawn, it's one of those comics that came out in a time where everything had to be super dark and edgy. It starts off as basically just like this dude who just has to have sex with a lot of women and kill a lot of dudes in super gruesome ways, and that's the whole comic. Is like violence and sex. That's the comic. And that's the comic for a while. And then eventually it starts doing a little more deeper stuff with now to be fair, there's always Jackie's character is always there. He's always this character who's like a really, really bad dude who's trying to evolve into a better dude. But not because he wants to, but because like he has the influence of Jenny, who wants him to be a better person and believes he can be a better person, even though arguably he cannot. I would actually argue that he can't. So that's always a part of it. But it is a lot of it is just like, okay, let's rip this dude's skull out in one scene, and then like press my face into this chick's titties in another scene, and that's like most of the comic are those two things. And then there's like a lot of mob stuff. And that's what it is for a solid 100, 150 issues. And then it starts to get into the more hell aspects and dealing with, not hell, because there really isn't a hell, but dealing with the more like occult and
nature.
Like occult and like godlike beings and monsters and things like that. And it does go. But for the most part, it's essentially you don't read this because you want to really, really get attached and oh my god, and like it really sunk in. You read this because Jackie does really cool, fucked up shit, and it's cool to read about. Like it's cool when he sticks his fingers through a dude's eye sockets and then rips his entire skeleton out of his body. I'm not kidding. He does this. There's like it makes no sense whatsoever. It doesn't how does that even work? But it's just wild and cool, and he has a lot of cool. Like at one point, there's his mafia is about to go to war with this other mafia. So he basically skips the entire war by going to the mob boss's house, putting his darkness tendrils into the pipes, traveling all the way through, and while the mob boss of the other side is sitting on the toilet taking a shit, the tendrils come out of the toilet, wrap around his body, and pull him inside the toilet. and he just like he just pulls all of him, like his guts, his leg, and then when his guys go into the bathroom and open up the door, he's just like 2 severed legs sticking out of the toilet, and the rest of his meat and chunks are just forced down that little hole in the toilet, and it's just like Jesus Christ. And he just like does really super like violent, hardcore shit. To give you an idea, this character was created by Mark Silvestri, and I'm forgetting the name of the other guy, Garth Ennis. And Garth Ennis, I believe, wrote The Boys, and basically he's known for really fucked up shit. Mark Silvestri kind of toned down the fuck up shit because he's more of like a normal Marvel DC type writer. But then Garth Ennis came in, so what you ended up getting is you got like this combination of a character that kind of feels like it could fit in the Marvel DC universe, but it just has just like ever so slightly larger teeth than those series would have. Like there are rapists in this comic. There are, you know, butchers and you know, child abductors and things that you would just never see in a Marvel comic book are in this comic, and they touch on things like that, which makes it a little more interesting. It's kind of like it feels very much like you're reading a Marvel or DC comic that's just allowed to go a lot farther than a normal Marvel or DC comic. I like it. I think it has really good storylines and a lot of okay storylines. I generally like it more than Spawn. I would personally put it above Spawn, but I wouldn't be particularly annoyed if it went below Spawn, because I kind of put them in a similar category. I just think that The Darkness does it a little bit better than Spawn does, because I think that Jackie's interesting all the way through, and Spawn's not really. Yeah, like Jackie's constantly trying to do the right thing, but really deep down inside, he's actually a piece of shit, and he just can't help himself. Just makes the decisions he makes interesting in a way that it doesn't really do the same for Spawn. So, I don't know. Does anyone else here read The Darkness? I would assume not.
Nah, I played the games.
I had to be quick because my microphone's a little bit fucked. I do agree somewhat. Like Jackie, I do not think Jackie's a good guy. 100%, no.
He's not. 100%
The only
he's
reason
not.
why he does half of the things he does is mostly for someone else completely.
Wait, what did he say? I didn't even hear what he said.
First it was Batman. Everything he does what is somewhat good is because of someone else. First it was Batman, then it was his first girlfriend, then it was Ceres. Like nothing he does except like resetting the universe, but that wasn't good.
That wasn't good. That wasn't at all good. He did it
good
because his
reasons.
life sucked, and he wanted to fix
because
things.
he wanted to save his daughter. That was it.
It wasn't but it wasn't. Yeah, but there were other ways to do. No, he didn't like because he didn't just do that, but he stole his daughter from another woman, and he gave his daughter to his dead girl. Like he did more than just save his daughter. Like he rewrote all of reality and changed it to suit what he wanted. Like he brought Jenny back to life after Jenny was already dead. Like, yeah, no, it was a little more than just saving his daughter. That was his reasoning. Like he said it's because it was just saving his daughter, but it's kind of like where it's like, you know, like I'm going to rob these dudes because I need money to save the orphans and I need like $500, but I'm going to take like $1,500 and keep the other $1,000 for myself. You know what I mean? Like that's kind of like, it's not like the orphans weren't an important part of why he stole the money. It's just he was okay with taking a little bit more for his own benefit, which is he's not a good guy. He's not a good guy at all. This comic, literally, like in the first couple of issues of this comic, he runs a dude over with a car that he is then told is the wrong dude because he's a hitman. He kills the wrong guy, which he then says, oh well, whatever. He then he knows that there's a rat in his family, so he looks at one of his friends and accuses him of being a rat to such an extent that he blows him up with a grenade, finds out that wasn't the rat, and says, oh, well, whatever. Like at one point in this series, he's going to kill this woman's brother, and the woman is like, and the woman is like, oh, no, don't kill him. I'll give you anything. And he's like, okay, have sex with me. And then they have sex. And then after they have sex, he still kills her brother. Like he's a really, really bad dude. Like he's a really bad dude. And the comic does not in any way shy away from the fact that he's a bad dude. He's just he's a really really shitty person who's trying to be a good person, and he fails more times than he succeeds, but he sometimes succeeds. But yeah, it's just all right. It's just all right. Okay, so since there's only one other person here who knows the comic, do you think he should be above or below Spawn? I think he should be above Spawn because I just find him more interesting. But
Spawn, yeah.
Above, you think he should be above?
I was gonna say above Spawn just from what you were saying.
Yeah, I personally think he's more interesting. I just don't find Spawn all that interesting. If someone in the chat, down in the text chat, thinks otherwise, let me know. But
I mean, it's just a more complex dynamic. The idea of someone who is deep down a piece of shit, but still trying to be a good person and failing all the time is extremely unique. And while Spawn, making the deal with the devil is hardcore, and then it goes off the rail, even if it didn't go off the rail, that's kind of a generic start in terms of hardcore shit.
It's generic. I mean, the comic did come out a while back, like in the early 90s, I think. It wasn't even the late 90s. I think it was the early 90s when Spawn came out. But so it was, I mean, maybe it was less generic back then, possibly, but I feel like that's been done even before that. Like that's been around for a while. But yeah, so next up we have Hulk, my personal favorite Marvel character. I still think he is super hit or miss. Oh god, there's just so many things that like a lot of people say that stories like the Planet Hulk storyline and the World War Hulk storyline are like the best storylines he's ever had. But they completely ignore the fact that those destroyed him as a character. They that from up until that point, the entire Hulk story was about Hulk, and he was a monster, and you know, he was like the thing that protected the world from Bruce Banner. Like Hulk actually did kill people. He was a dangerous monster. There was a reason people were fearful of Bruce Banner. Planet Hulk and World War Hulk completely wiped that. They changed it, and they did. They straight up retconned it, and they straight up said that they gave an excuse for all of the people that Hulk killed. And basically, they even went as far as to say that Hulk had never killed a person, and that all of the times that people died, it wasn't because of some stuff that Hulk did. It was because other people were trying to capture him. They basically tried to paint Bruce Banner and Hulk as nothing more than a victim, which to me destroys the entire point of the character up to that point, because Hulk was never a victim. Like, Bruce Banner is technically a victim. Yes, he was abused as a child, and you know, Savage Hulk is just a manifestation of his childhood trauma, and I get that. He is technically a victim. But the idea is he is also the arbitrator of that to other people via the Hulk persona, and Bruce himself is a very, very dangerous person. He's kind of a psychopath. But they tried to rewrite it all and just make him like just a total complete victim, and that shit sucked. That was awful. It still affects him negatively to this day. It's really weird. They tried to undo it a little bit in the Immortal Hulk storyline, where they brought in Devil Hulk, and they were like, okay, well, Devil Hulk actually is this type of character. But even that was trying to like undo basically a retcon that they did during the Greg Pak run that made no sense. And there's a bunch of stuff like this across Hulk comics, where it's like things that, like, sometimes he'll have a personality and be able to speak and do all that stuff. Sometimes he won't, and they don't really have an explanation as to why, which is why they then later had to come up with an explanation as to why, because they were kind of inconsistent on Hulk's abilities and why Hulk was, you know, smart sometimes and not smart other times, and could talk and couldn't talk, and like they like all these different kind of rules. And then they had to like paint characters like Mr. Fantastic and Tony Stark as villains to like force fights between Hulk and like the Avengers and Earth by making all of these characters act uncharacteristically awful. And it was just there's just a lot of really bad stuff with the storyline. And again, the character, like, he was at one point one character, and then they keep like every like okay, he used to be a science-based character, and now all of a sudden he's not science-based. He's now tied to this other godlike being, the one below all, and it's like mystical. And gamma radiation, which is a radiation that exists in the real world, is actually a form of magic. How stupid is that? That is so dumb. I don't hate the Immortal Hulk storyline, but that's a dumb addition. And I understand that they had a whole thing where he could have been mystical before, but that was always stupid, and I thought everyone was on the same page about that being stupid, and then they just like
I think
went
it ruins
full on
the
into
character.
it definitely lessens him for me. I don't know if it ruins him.
I think it just
I mean-
ruins him because the interesting part is the like rage monster, like the split personality type stuff.
Well, he still has that. It's just magical now instead of science based. That's the only difference they made. I personally don't like the whole idea that every powerful character has to be tied to some kind of alternate reality god. Like it's getting excessive at this point. It's like every one of these characters has to be tied to something. Even Cyclops' eye beams are tied to this alternate universe energy source. You know, you have the Speed Force with Flash, and you have like the Clear with Aquaman and the Gray.
The Steve Force.
And yeah, the Speed
Yeah,
Force.
you know what's-
Mind some of them.
They're even it's even starting to get to Spider-Man. They're connecting
Yeah,
like
the
almost every
totems.
Spider-Man to like this original Spider-Man that's like the god of
Well, no,
spiders, and
they-
it really
they have
pissed
the
me off because I was
totems.
like, that was the most recent. This is like really recent, like months ago. I don't know why they just suddenly, and it started with when Miles Morales was introduced. Like that's when they introduced this, and I was like so pissed. Like why Miles Morales and just any Spider-Man in general was just such a cool character, and like it was just simpler radioactive spider. I was like, why
hate
are you
Miles
connecting him
Morales.
to some type of god?
Well,
There is honestly such a weird obsession with gods going on lately, where they're doing that in a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Even on just like YouTube thumbnails, they'll say like a bunch of god tiers, god this happening to God. Like there's a weird obsession with that going on for some reason.
Yeah, it's been going on for a while though. I mean, honestly, there's always been an obsession with God, no matter what decade you're in. I don't think that's a new thing. But it's not even necessarily attaching it to God. I'm just saying they're attaching it to some kind of alternate reality. It's a multiverse thing and a universe thing. They keep tying all of these basic powers that do not need alternate reality explanations and tying it to some greater force, whether it's God or not. Like I said, Aquaman has the Clear, right? Swamp Thing has the Green, and then Hulk now has the One Below All. Ghost Rider has Zarathos. It's like all of these things are tied into this alternate reality sort of. Like I said, like Cyclops can just have.
Wasn't
fucking
Ghost Rider
optic beams.
already?
He was.
Wasn't
That
Ghost
wasn't.
Rider
That wasn't
already?
a change. That wasn't a change. But it's just another one, right? Cyclops can't just be a dude who shoots optic beams out of his eyes. His eyes have to be portals into another universe. Why?
That's gay.
That's so stupid. Like it's so stupid. It's just getting to almost parody at this point. They just keep doing it, and it's like, please stop doing it. And I didn't like it when they did it with Hulk, and I know that it was implied years ago that may have been the case, but they went full on and confirmed it in the Immortal Hulk storyline. I think that was stupid. In some ways, the Immortal Hulk storyline kind of sort of tried to fix a lot of stuff that they did with Hulk that was really weird. But in other ways, it went way farther in other directions. And it's like, and this is just kind of, like I said, a problem with Marvel and DC as a whole. You can't like have a solid idea of who these characters are because they're constantly completely different characters every 10 years or so. And it's not that they're completely different characters because they're going through evolutions. It's because they're just adding stupid shit that's like, it just doesn't make sense, doesn't matter. He's a totally different character than he was before. You've retconned things in the past. Like literally saying that Hulk has never killed anybody before in the World War Hulk storyline. That's so stupid. We've seen Hulk kill
Oh yeah,
people.
he's killed many people. Like I don't
No,
know.
not anymore.
why they
Not
did that.
according to the World War Hulk storyline. He never killed a single person. Amadeus straight up
just thought-
said. Amadeus got into an argument.
Isn't that the whole reason why he gets sent? Like
No,
I
that
actually I didn't read the Planet Hulk storyline. I watched the movie of Planet Hulk, and they sent
That's
him
not
away
even
because he was killing people.
No, that's
Yeah, that-
don't watch the movie. That has nothing to do. They're very different stories. What were you saying, Doug?
I mean, that was what I was just gonna say. Is that unless I understood was that the Hulk was specifically sent away because he kept rampaging and killing people. Well, but I was going to say I could be misconstruing that with the movie.
No, so the exact thing that happened, like the actual thing that happened, is that Hulk went on a rampage. I believe it was in Las Vegas, and during the rampage, usually what happens during the rampage when the Fantastic Four has to deal with Hulk, they send in the Human Torch, and the Human Torch uses his supernova move, and it's capable of knocking out the Hulk. This time they sent in the Thing and Johnny and the Human Torch. The Human Torch used his supernova, and it didn't work. Basically, The Hulk beat the shit out of the Thing, he beat the shit out of the Human Torch, and he kept going, and it was only through the Hulk just calming down naturally of something that the Fantastic Four didn't even do to stop him, that he just kind of went back into being Banner. And this is where Mr. Fantastic said, oh shit, something that we used to use as a guaranteed way of defeating the Hulk and putting him down no longer works because Hulk is getting stronger. There's going to be a time where we won't be able to stop him anymore. So we're going to send him away. But like at that point when Mr. Fantastic came to that conclusion, this was already after in Hulk comics, Hulk has gone on more than half a dozen rampages. And yeah, these rampages did lead to the deaths of people. There are whole conversations and issues that are specifically about the ramifications of the people that Hulk has killed. And then Amadeus comes out and has a whole argument with Mr. Fantastic where Mr. Fantastic is giving his side. And he's like, yeah, we sent him away because what about this thing he did? What about this thing he did? And every time he said something, Amadeus was like, yeah, but that wasn't him. Vegas did this because you guys did this to him, causing Hulk to come out. You know, he destroyed this thing because somebody did this thing to him. The only time that he actually does anything is when you guys are attacking him because y'all are terrified of the Hulk. It's y'all's fear that is leading to the Hulk going crazy and killing and attacking places. And he said and Amadeus himself said in the entire history that he's been out, he's never killed a single person. He's only caused property damage, and it's only in defense because you guys keep coming after him because of your own fear of the Hulk. And Amadeus wins that argument, and Mr. Fantastic is shown to be the loser of that argument, that he's been wrong this whole time. It's very clearly skewed towards Amadeus being the correct one in this situation, and the Illuminati being the bad guys for sending him off-world, even though technically they're at least to some extent justified in sending him off-world. But, you know, they just kind of retcon everything, all of the bad things that the Hulk did, and made it just not his fault.
The idea that he hasn't killed anyone is just impossible. Like, it would be impossible.
Wait, what?
The idea that he's never caused anyone to die feels like that would just be impossible.
Yeah, I mean, he's gone on mindless rampages across whole cities before. He's destroyed several city blocks.
And somehow no one's died.
Not a single person has died. When he attacked in World War Hulk, when he attacks Earth, they literally go to war with the entire city of Manhattan, and they turn it into a fucking wasteland. Not a single person dies during that invasion. Not possible. Literally not possible. But that's how they set it up as. In fact, after he attacks Manhattan and takes out all the superheroes, that storyline has the people on World War Hulk. World War Hulk. They have the people of Manhattan side with the Hulk and agreeing with the Hulk for all the stuff that he's doing and him attacking the superheroes, even though he's attacking them, destroying their homes and their entire city. They all side with him. A lot of people like World War Hulk because it's just a bunch of fights with Hulk against other superheroes, but the actual story of World War Hulk is written very poorly. Planet Hulk, I actually do like, but World War Hulk lost its fucking mind, dude. It's fun, you know, for just, again, like the action between the different characters, but it is I don't know what the fuck they were thinking, dude. Greg Pak in a lot of ways ruined the Hulk.
He was calling Greg Crackhead.
Greg's crack.
This fucking crackhead over here. No, Greg Pak, he I don't know, he made some very strange decisions, and in my mind kind of ruined the character in a lot of ways, which is kind of a bummer. I put him in hit or miss. I don't really care if he's above or below Invincible. Does anyone think that he should be somewhere else, or that he should be above or below Invincible?
I don't know if I put him above or below.
Hulk as a character is at least interesting. The only problem is that they connect him to a lot of dumb stuff.
He's incredibly interesting when he's written in an interesting way, but so oftentimes he's not. I mean, look at the MCU, right? The MCU has him just be a dude who turns into a monster, and they don't even tie it into his Bruce Bannerness at all. And there's a lot of writers in the Marvel comics, I know we're talking about comics, that do the same thing. They basically just make Bruce a regular scientist who turns into a monster, and that monster is just like a buddy who's really cool. And it's like, this is not what Bruce Banner is. A seriously demented, fucked up person. And the Hulks they're specifically designed to protect the world from Bruce Banner. They're a outlet by which Bruce can basically get all of his messed up nature out so that he can live his life normally. There's literally a storyline in the comics where they remove all of the Hulks from Bruce Banner, and without that outlet where he can vent all of his hatreds on the different things, he literally loses his mind, becomes a psychopath, and starts like experimenting and murdering people. He needs the Hulk in order to function, and it's just a lot of writers completely forget that, and it's irritating. So I do think that he's unbelievably fascinating when he's written in a certain way, but oftentimes he is not written in that certain way, and he's just kind of a scientist with a monster in him. And it's just not as interesting. So again, it's a hit or miss. He's got really great stuff, and he's got really, really shitty stuff.
I think it's hit or miss. I just really can't pick out of Invincible or him who I find who above the other.
No, we could put Hulk against Invincible. Like I said, that'd be cool. I mean, he is generally more like, the idea of Hulk is more interesting than Invincible just in general. And when he's written well, he is more interesting. I don't think I've ever read anything about the Hulk where he's more boring than Invincible, I suppose. So I mean, that would put him above, just right there. But I do think that the absolute worst of Hulk stories is written worse than the absolute worst of Invincible stories.
Yeah, I say it's. I mean, hit or miss is pretty much just all you can really say for Hulk. Like, at least it's not boring, but sometimes it's just not good.
Mm-hmm. Now, someone said Hulk has 9 PhDs. That's not true, but he is incredibly intelligent. People don't realize how smart the Hulk is. It depends on the version, but like Green Scar Hulk actually is a genius tactician who was trained by the greatest warriors of Sakaar in strategy and tactics. He doesn't actually utilize those strategy and tactics because his actual tactics, as shown, are not that interesting or good, because the people who write the comic don't know tactics very well. I'm not saying I could necessarily do a better job, but they didn't do very well at all. Like, his tactics are trad. They're very straightforward, very simplistic.
I've read the comics briefly. I'm pretty sure all his tactics come down to, I have a crazy healing factor and I'm stronger than everyone.
No, I'm talking about like battles. They're really just like face forward. They're just very straightforward battles. We go in, we fight, or we hide somewhere in ambush. There's nothing really super like crazy complex about it.
Well, he fights the X-Men, and his entire fight against the X-Men is basically, I'm more powerful than you.
Well, yeah. Well, he doesn't need tactics because he's more powerful than them. Like, I'm not talking about that when I'm talking about tactics. I'm talking about when he's leading armies, because he was the king of Sakaar.
Right. Okay, I get you.
I'm not just talking about combat wise, but he is trained in hand-to-hand fighting on Sakaar. Like, he actually is a skilled hand-to-hand combatant. But that's Green Scar version of Hulk. There's a ton of different versions. He has like 5 or 6 different versions that he can transform into at any given time, depending on different situations. All right, next up we have Batman. Okay, I know that Liam's not gonna like this. I think Batman goes above Superman. I still think he's a.
The funny thing about Batman.
What's up?
The funny thing about Batman is he's actually the only consistent thing of mainly his character is the most consistent thing about Batman storylines. Like, when you think Batman, anything you think of, he's usually the same. Yeah, the
Batman, he has all the same problems that all the other DC characters and Marvel characters have, but it's just to a less extreme degree, I think, than a lot of these other characters. He actually has, like, legit, like, in the past, I'm not going to say 5 years because I haven't read them, but since the last time I read a Batman comic, like, they had a solid 10-year run of just really, really solid Batman comics, just back to back to back to back. I mean, I'm trying to remember all of them. There was the War of Jokes and Riddles that was pretty cool. They had Darkest Night, which was pretty cool. What are some other ones? I'm forgetting. It's been a while, but it was like a 9 or 10 year stretch where it's like all of the storylines were actually really solid. He didn't even really suffer that much from the trash that was the New 52.
Switch up.
Yeah, like the New 52 didn't even really ruin him that much. It was still relatively decent stories.
Yeah, also the even more modern iterations of him. Look at the Absolute Universe version of him. He's like a really solid run of Batman.
The alternate. Well, I'm not. We're not worrying about the alternate universes so much. We're just talking about like the Prime universe character because this is character. And when you start going into the alternate universes, you're talking about different characters. So we're trying to stick to one character, which is the Prime universe. But I actually think the Prime universe has a load of fucking stories that are really, really, really solid. You do have your occasional really irritating slip-ups, like the whole not marrying Catwoman, even though it's built up for months and months and months, and the reasoning they didn't get married was stupid, and it was all like a publicity stunt, and it felt like a corporate decision as opposed to an actual natural conclusion to that storyline, and that sucks. But again, you have like 3 or 4 or 5 storylines in a row that are all relatively good, and there's a ton of super death in the family, really good classic storyline. I mean, there's a lot of really, really solid Batman storylines. So it's still gonna. I think you could still put it in hit or miss, possibly all right, but it would be the top of hit. It would be the top of hit or miss or the bottom of all right, because he still does have all the same situations. He still does have the same stuff. I mean, there's still really stupid shit like he
Frank Miller.
Well, Frank Miller, those are alternate versions of the character. And some of the Frank Miller stuff is good, and some of the Frank Miller stuff is really bad.
Him not killing the Joker has always been a really annoying thing I've hated about his character.
But it's not a flaw, because it's explained very well. There's a reason why he doesn't kill them. He's crazy. Like, the comic makes it very clear that Batman is crazy. Batman not killing the Joker is something that only a crazy person would do. Like they've actually had conversations about this, how it's like it's kind of nuts that he won't kill the Joker, and they've pointed it out in the stories. It's not like it's something that the stories aren't aware of. And I don't think that a character decision that I don't like suddenly makes it bad.
But that's fair.
Yeah, he's got that same relationship as the Dragon Ball Z Abridged, Vegeta and Tien.
I say great tier for Batman.
Why?
I don't know. I'm biased. That's why. I just prefer him over Superman.
I respect the honesty.
Well, Superman doesn't belong in great. Superman belongs in hit or miss.
Well, he does.
He does.
Really.
What if I pay to bring Superman down?
That'll work. He'll go down. If you pay, all you gotta do is pay more than €2 and he'll go down.
It's not
$2 more than €2.
It's same shit.
Yes, maybe.
Maybe.
What was paid earlier was technically $2.71.
Oh damn! I guess I'm gonna be cheaper than that payment. I won't do it.
Of course.
Oh no! Can't believe
All right, so Batman.
Hey, at least I'm trying to make the effort.
That's not trying.
Was thinking about
That's thinking about it. That's
you
not
thought about
trying.
it. You considered it. That's all that matters.
Trying is like you were sitting on the bench of a marathon, being like, maybe I'll run. Nah, I'm not gonna run. Trying would be like you tried to run and then you got
Yes,
like
I ran a marathon.
you got like 40 feet. And was like, nah, I can't do this. I tried.
I attempted a marathon today.
So okay, where are we at? Are we at all right? Are we at hit or miss? Where are we at? What do you guys think?
I say all right.
All right. Everyone's saying all right.
All right.
Okay.
I say top of all right.
It's not gonna be top of all right. I'll tell you that right now, because again, it still has the same situations. There is still inconsistencies. There are still problems with characters that doesn't make sense. There's still constant reboots and having to reread the same storylines or like undoing things that already happened. The character doesn't really evolve at all and is not allowed to evolve and keeps going back to zero like every other DC and Marvel character. Those are problems that the Darkness and Spawn don't have to the same degree.
Yeah.
So
I see what you mean. Man.
Yeah. So I'm still gonna put him below those, but it does. He'll go in all right. He'll go in all right.
Yeah, I say all right. It's fine.
All right. Okay. Next up, we have Witchblade. I'm going to make the shocking statement here. No one here has read Witchblade. That is my prediction. That is my foretelling.
What crazy prediction.
Yeah, I know.
Shut the fuck up.
I know, crazy, right? Okay. So am I correct? Is my awesome prediction?
Well, guess what?
Oh, I have read it.
Yeah, absolutely.
What's up? What you say?
You are in fact correct.
I know I'm correct. I know Doug hasn't fucking read it. Doug, this comic came out before you were even born. Like,
Doesn't mean I couldn't have read it.
You didn't read. No, you're not. You're not. No.
I mean, I didn't, but
didn't
still,
read.
just because it came before born,
Yes. You're not about to go back and read a comic book that came out before you're born. You're not going to do that. There's no way. I don't believe you.
He could.
I actually think it's better than The Darkness. I think overall its themes are better. I think the Witchblade as a character is done better. She actually has like legitimately well done character arcs. I do think it has a weak start. Not necessarily a weak start because it's not bad, but it does have a relatively slow pace and it doesn't feel like a whole lot of really interesting. It just kind of feels like you're just getting storyline after storyline for a while. But then eventually it really starts to hit its stride and it actually becomes a really, really good story. So I actually think that if this is going to be an all right, it's going to be at the top of all right, or the bottom of great. But I'm kind of not thinking it should be in great necessarily, because it does have a slow start. If there's a good, it should be in good, but I don't want to add like another tier between great.
Quick
and all
finish.
What's up?
Does it got a quick finish?
Does it have a quick finish? No, it's
Yes.
ongoing. They still make them.
No.
Yeah, no, they
It's
still.
a different universe, though. It's a Image universe.
Yeah, Image bought Top Cow and they started over, but it was I think it actually happened a little bit after Image bought them. I don't think it was right when Image bought them. But what happened was Sarah Pazzini was the Witchblade for years and years and years, and then she basically passed on the Witchblade to this younger chick. And the younger chick, I think her name was Daniel Baptiste or something. It was like Daniel or I might be getting the name wrong, but it was she passed it on to another chick, and the writers changed, and that was garbage. It was basically everything that you don't like about Captain Marvel currently. It was basically just a feminist story, like just straight up feminist story, and it sucked. Which was
An
real
arrogant feminist story.
Which was funny because Sarah Pazzini was always wholly anti-feminist. Like, she was completely against the whole modern feminist ideology, like completely. There's actually a whole storyline in the original Witchblade where there's this chick who was abused by her husband, she was beat and all this kind of stuff, and then she goes off to she basically becomes a villain, and she's a villain who takes in models under her modeling agency, and then she abuses and uses these models for her own benefit. And she's like a serial killer that starts killing them, and she starts taking them for power and stuff. And when Sarah Pazzini runs into her, she basically has this whole sob story about how men did this to her and and how she was abused by her husband. And Sarah's reaction was so funny because it's basically like, I don't give a fuck about anything that you had to deal with, to be honest with you. Like, you're a grown fucking woman. Like, you should, I get it, that sucks, but I don't care. Like, you're in control of your own actions. You chose to do this. People you need to be able to deal with the things that you do without having it harm the people around you and stuff like this. It's not men's problem that this one thing happened. Like, she basically calls her out for all her bullshit and beats the living shit out of her. She's like, it's really funny. And
That's a lot, though.
Sarah Pazzini
Fuck out of everyone.
Yeah, and Sarah Pazzini as a character is kind of like, it would be, she's kind of written like an 80s like badass sort of cop that don't take no shit, like hard-boiled cop, but in the body of like a super hot, attractive like 20-something-year-old woman. And it's funny watching her like behave the way that she behaves to do the things that she does in the story, because she just straight up acts like a fucking hard-nosed cop that just like I'm gonna get my man, and like, oh, I gotta pay this dude money for information. Oh, he's not gonna tell me. I'm gonna smash his face through his own car windshield and get my information. I'm like, Jesus Christ. It's just like, it's really good. But then there's more of a character than that. She has like character arcs, things like that. And there's a whole thing about, being worthy of wielding the Witchblade, and there's a couple of times where she becomes unworthy and stuff like this. It's a really, really good story. But again, its main issue is its pacing. It's very, very slow at the start, and it takes a while to really start to like hit its stride and start being super, super interesting. But that's really the only downside I could think of. So I want to say, and again, if you want to keep continuing on past that point, when I don't think you can count that, because the Daniel chick, the second chick who gets the Witchblade, isn't her. Like, it's not. It's a totally different character, so you wouldn't even count that. So yeah, no, it's pretty good.
Witchblade, Ceres does get the Witchblade back after.
Yeah, I know she has it now, but I can't talk. I can't speak on that because I haven't read any of the current ones. I read the original run until the new chick got it, and then for I don't know if she's different. I don't know. They might have completely retconned her character. She might behave totally differently than she did. I assume she behaves totally differently because the original comic came out in the 90s, and the newer one came out just a couple years ago. So I would assume she's very different behavior wise than she used to be.
Yeah, she is. She is very different.
I would assume so. So I'm just gonna talk based that. So she goes. I'm gonna put her above Superman because she 100% deserves to be above Superman. And that's where I'm gonna put her. So yeah, sorry Superman.
What next to Jackie?
That'll work.
You don't deserve to be here, Superman. You don't deserve to be here. Okay. What's next? Next up, let me see. Where are we on super chats and stuff? Ooh, we're going on 3 hours. I'll keep going for a little bit. If the super chats don't start picking up, we'll end after one or two more. Okay, we'll do Spider-Man. I am so conflicted when it comes to Spider-Man. I think Spider-Man.
Yeah.
I've said this for years. I think Spider-Man is the best character with the worst stories I've probably ever seen in fiction. Spider-Man does not have a single quality story that's based around him. All of the best Spider-Man comics are based around his villains. He does not have a single good one based around himself. Please tell me one good storyline that's not about one of his villains but him.
You have a point. I feel like a lot of where Spider-Man's development comes from is just the villains he fights.
Yeah, well, the thing is, like his best, like when you look, he also has some of the worst. Like the Clone Saga was absolutely dreadful. Dreadful. I sounded like fucking Liam right there. The fucking One More. That's kind of I see that as a British word. The One More Day storyline was fucking terrible. But if you look at his best stories, Kraven's Last Hunt, it's about Kraven. Maximum Carnage, it's about Carnage. Fucking even the second one they did about Carnage a couple years back, it wasn't Maximum Carnage. It was not Absolute Carnage. What was the last one they did where Carnage takes over the city?
Let There Be Carnage.
Wait, what is it? What'd you say?
Like that. Let There Be Carnage or some shit like that.
What did he say? Leftover Carnage?
Let There Be Carnage, but no. I don't know. Isn't that a movie?
Let There Be Carnage. Let There Be Carnage is the tagline of Venom 2. That was terrible. You didn't even guess. That was awful. No, it was. If someone knows what story I'm talking about, I'm talking about the story where Carnage gets the dark hold, and basically becomes
I remember hearing
and tries to bring Mel. It's something Carnage. It's not Maximum Carnage.
Let There Be Carnage?
No, what the fuck? That's what he just said. We just said he was wrong. No, it's not Maximum Carnage. It's one word. It's kind of like Maximum Carnage, but it's not Maximum. It's something else. It's one word, and I can't remember the name of the word. It doesn't matter. Anyway, if someone can Google it and look it up, let me know. But
is it Absolute Carnage?
Maybe. That's what I said, but I wasn't. That's what I said originally, but I wasn't sure if I was thinking of Absolute Superman and Absolute Batman. I just said that on accident.
Oh, maybe.
But it might be Absolute Superman Carnage. I don't remember what the word was. Doesn't matter. That storyline, that is a Venom and Carnage storyline. So, like Superior Spider-Man was a really good storyline. It's about Doc Ock, not Peter Parker. Like, none of his best stories are actually about him. It's so weird. So what do you do with a character who you like and who seems like he'd be a really great character, but every story he's in is just a fucking dumpster fire, and all of his best stories he's not even a part of. He's basically a side character. So what do you even do at that point? With where would you put him? It's kind of
character. He has a great characterization.
Yeah, that much is obvious. He is like a really great character.
Well, he has been written wrong for a long time. You had this one. There was one writer. I'm forgetting his name. I think it was Brian something. He had him for over a decade straight, and he wrote him wrong for a decade straight, and everyone agreed that he wrote him wrong. It's the same dude who wrote Superior Spider-Man. When Superior Spider-Man came out, everyone dug it. Because and it was the same dude who was screwing up Spider-Man before that, because everyone agrees that this dude can't write Spider-Man. But because the main character of Superior Spider-Man was Doc Ock, and he actually wrote Doc Ock pretty well, the story suddenly became really, really good. It's not that he's a bad writer. He just can't fucking write Spider-Man. Like, Spider-Man just doesn't behave in the way that Spider-Man should. And Spider-Man is constantly getting screwed over, not in like a natural way because it sucks to be Spider-Man, but in ways that are just like bafflingly weird. Like, he gets married and then makes a deal with the devil that takes his marriage away. I know it's Mephisto, I'm just calling him the devil. And then, you know, he was currently getting cucked by that one dude because he left for a couple years. It's like we understand that Superman's life, I mean, we understand that Spider-Man's life is supposed to suck. Like, that's a part of being Spider-Man. I get it. But there's a certain point where it's like, you're not doing this because this is the problems with being Spider-Man. You're just pointlessly like doing really stupid shit toward like the stuff that just straight up doesn't even make sense.
Yeah, like the cucking shit was just dumb. Like, it's really fucking weird.
The
Like,
One More Day was dumb. The Clone Saga was dumb.
Yeah, like
the fact that we are
story-
the fact that the current Spider-Man that we are following right now in the story is not the real Spider-Man, it's a clone, and the real Spider-Man died during the Clone Saga is really stupid.
That's retarded.
Yeah, that's the Clone Saga. That's what happens in the Clone Saga. That's literally
The
that's
good
exactly what
Spider-Man
happened.
stories are the ones where it's more relatable, but like they stopped doing them as much.
Well, they really didn't have that many. Like, other than like Stan Lee back in the day, they really don't have that many like super awesome. Like, I can't think of one in the past 20 or 30 years that was like a solid Spider-Man story that was actually revolved around Spider-Man as a character. They all revolve around his villains. There are also stories
What does that say
focus on
about
his struggle.
society?
I don't think it says anything about society. I just think it's people. I just think the writers of Spider-Man don't necessarily know how to write Spider. I think they just prefer writing for his villains than writing for him. Really, like, I don't think it's necessarily a Spider-Man issue. But which is kind of weird because like when Spider-Man PS4 came out, like everyone agreed like, oh, this is the best Spider-Man story we've had in a long time. And then they kind of ruined it in Spider-Man. No, they did ruin it in Spider-Man 2. And they kind of started doing the same shit the comics were doing, where they were shitting on him the whole time. And then they came out with a movie that was actually like a good Spider-Man movie, but then that one was about Miles Morales. And it's like, when is Spider-Man gonna get a fucking break, dude? Is he gonna get like a solid, like really great like movie or whatever, but or a story? It's just, I don't know. It's weird. So I think you have no choice but to make him a hit or miss, and more specifically, a low hit or miss. Because he's got way more bad stories than he has good stories, and he's written poorly more than he's written well. Yeah. I mean, does anyone disagree with that?
No, it's sort of an unfortunate part about Spider-Man.
Yeah. Anybody else? Does anyone else think that anyone disagree at all?
No.
Spider-Man
Nah,
writers change.
you're pretty on point.
It's the wedding arc. Okay, but Miles Morales in the Spider-Verse movies is really good. Yeah, I like him in the Spider-Verse movies. But that's because they completely changed his character because he fucking sucks in the comics.
That's also Miles, not Peter.
Where he had to go through a gauntlet of challenges, and at one point he felt the loss and... Wait, goddamn, dude, my eyes are really struggling to read this stuff. Loss and mourned the death of everyone he's ever loved and will ever love and quit. What story was it? He said there was that one event recently. I don't know. I know he's quit before. He quit a long time ago. I don't know about quitting recently. Let me see. Solar Hyper, member for 1 month. Thank you, Solar Hyper. Welcome to the... I think you've been in the membership before, though. I don't think this is your first time. But thank you for re-upping or coming back or whatever. All right, so
it's enough.
I'm putting him at the bottom of hit or miss, unless someone can say otherwise or tell me why I shouldn't. But
isn't Invincible character supposed to be kind of a combination between Spider-Man and fucking Superman?
In ways, kinda, not really. I would say Spider-Man's generally a more interesting character when he's written properly, but he's written improperly more than he's written properly, which is. I mean, that's pretty big. I mean, I almost want to put him in trash just for that, to be honest with you. To be honest with you, I'm given a lot of leeway by not putting all these characters in trash, because Hulk and Spider-Man, like if I was just making this list on my own and not like kind of referring to you guys, I'd probably put both of them in trash. I think that if you're reading a story and the story is having retcons and characters are acting out of character every once in a while, and like this is a consistent thing that happens across their entire history, that is a trash story. 100% trash story. Like if you can't keep a character on the same go throughout the whole course of your story, you are writing a trash ass story. I think they should both be trash, but I'll put them in hit or miss because I think people would have a fucking aneurysm if I started putting all of Marvel and DC characters in trash. I just generally think that Marvel and DC are trash comics, all of them. There's there's some storylines that I like. There's occasionally they'll have a storyline that's really good, but I don't care if you occasionally have a storyline that's really good when you've been making comics since the 30s and the vast majority of them are bad. It's wild to me that's something I even have to defend, to be honest with you. All right, next up we have Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I actually think Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles is pretty good. Does anybody think that Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles is not really good? Is actually like kind of shitty? Or okay, or all right.
I haven't read the comics.
Okay, has anyone read it? Has anyone read any of them at all?
Nope.
Read a bit of the last Ronin era stuff.
Okay, they're good. Like there isn't that much bad shit in them. They're generally written by the same dudes most of the time. It's the owners of them. Sometimes they'll be given to different writers and stuff. It's not like they've only written them. But the thing about it is that we can't really do Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles the same way we do all these other characters, because the Spider-Man that existed back in the 60s when he was created is the same Spider-Man that exists now, but now there's alternate universe versions, but he's still the same Spider-Man. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the same Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles that existed when the comic first came out, is not the same ones that's in comics now. They actually do have their full storylines. Their storylines end, and they have different iterations. Basically, they kind of like the TV shows. They consistently retell the story over and over and over again, but then just change little things about it or tell like little, and that's the way it's supposed to be read. Like if they did that for something like Spider-Man, I think I would like it more. If it was like, okay, read this Spider-Man comic, you read it, it's 30 issues, boom, that comic's done, that Spider-Man's dead, don't even worry about it, his story's over. Now let's reread it with another Spider-Man, and we'll see a different story with this Spider-Man, and I think I would like it a lot more. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles does that, and because of that, it's not inconsistent. Like, it's not that hard to keep a story consistent for, 15, 20 issues for however long the story is, and then, when you write the next one, it's like, okay, now let's keep this one consistent with itself. We don't have to worry about 80 years of fucking history that we're freaking out about. So, no, I think this is actually really good. I would probably put this in great. It's really solid. There's a lot of really, I mean, did you like The Last Ronin? Guy, you say
it was a pretty badass comic.
Yeah, it's good, and most of them are. And because they keep rebooting, like not necessarily rebooting, but because they're not rebooting, because they keep retelling the story every once in a while, they don't have to feel bad about killing people. So like Spider-Man will never kill Green Goblin. Green Goblin will keep coming back again and again and again and again. Spider-Man will keep coming back, and it's just like at this point, it's just kind of stupid. Like, how much damage does someone have to do? Like, there's only a certain point. You can only keep a villain and a hero alive for so long together before it just gets fucking retarded. And it's like, okay, one of you has to kill the other one. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, they actually have the storylines where they'll go through it, and it's like, oh shit, Donatello just fucking died, dude. And he doesn't come back. And then the story goes to a natural conclusion. It ends, and then they'll do another one. And look, Donnie's back, and now this is a new version of Donnie for this new retelling of the story. And I think that's probably the best way to do it. And because of that, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles is a constantly evolving series where different past things that have been utilized in those stories will be brought into future stories. So it's constantly evolving. Like, there are better retellings and there are worse retellings, but none of those bad retellings necessarily really, like, they don't matter that much because they last a couple years, they're done, and boom, now we'll go on to a new, better retelling, and it's fine. I would say that this is great. I think they're really, really solid. And I would put them in front.
I always enjoyed Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
I'll put them in front of Superman. I don't think I've read enough Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles to say whether or not they're above or below Witchblade. I do think Witchblade is slow. I'm going to put them above Witchblade because I haven't read anything bad necessarily. I'm sure there's bad comics with Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, but I haven't personally read them. So I'm going to put it above.
We haven't brought them up in any of our debate discussions yet.
That's not surprising to me at all. That's not surprising to me at all because the majority of the debates have people debating people who could like blow up cities and shit. and a lot of people will try getting like hacksy characters, and Teenage Mutant Turtles aren't any of that. If you brought up the Teenage Mutant Turtles, you're basically just arguing martial arts against martial arts, and
more durable martial arts.
they don't
martial arts.
do that in the debates that often. I mean, y'all did recently do a Baki thing, so it's not like y'all never do it. But even that, wasn't that Baki versus JoJo?
No, that was
Yeah.
Baki versus fucking Saxon Hale.
Tekken. What? Saxon?
Saxon
I thought it
Hale
was Tekken.
No. It wasn't from Tekken.
Yeah, my bad. That's Saxon Hill from TF2.
Teenage Mutant Turtles versus Power Rangers without the suits.
That's not really a well, no, because the people themselves are at least combat wise. Without the suits, they're not really much more.
You have to look at the comics and see what they can do, because in the show, obviously the Teenage Mutant Turtles win, because the show they're not really that impressive without the suits. But if you're doing, if you're gonna do you'd have to see the comic versions and see if the Power Rangers in the comics have like any crazy superpowered. I don't read the Power Rangers comics, even though I think they're actually pretty cool. I like the concept of Power Rangers is really cool.
I think they're pretty cool, but like the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles bring weapons, like
so do Power Rangers. Like, Power Rangers also have weapons.
Yeah, but like I mean, they bring like daggers, that kind of stuff. Like we're talking like tested battle weapons. A staff is like a motherfucker, actually. But
well, so do the Power Rangers.
But also, they're just
the Power Rangers have swords, and they have axes, and they have weapons.
They got some weird shit.
They have they not only have like swords and stuff and like actual like ninja weapons and things, but they also just straight up have like massive cannons and guns and shit.
Don't those
have a giant ass?
I'm sorry, I'm not versed in like recent Power Rangers, but like from my childhood, I think they like have the daggers, and then once they get the suits, they get like the weapon.
No, they have more than that. Like, they have more than the even in the original like, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, they have more than just daggers.
No, but every single time they like pull out, the axe or anything else like that. The pink one had the bow. They were in the suits, like their super suits. Power Ranger suits.
Super suits.
SPD had a robot dog that would turn into a gun.
A robot what?
Robot dog that would turn into a gun.
A robot dog.
I don't remember that one, but okay.
I remember that one.
I'll take your word for it.
The whole team gets together. The tail, I think it was his tail turns into a joystick, and they all shoot at one. Speedy?
Yeah, who's Speedy?
I don't know.
No, you just said Speed. Well, you didn't say Speedy has a dog that turns into a gun. Who has a dog that turns into a gun?
SPD.
Oh, I didn't watch SPD. No, I stopped following the series after Power Rangers in Space. That was the last one.
Oh, you watched the original.
Okay. Yeah. I watched because I was a kid when the original was airing, and then I saw up to Power Rangers in Space, and then after Power Rangers in Space, I was too old to fucking watch Power Rangers anymore, so I stopped watching. I was probably a little too old when I was watching Power Rangers in Space as well, but yeah, and then I was just done. It was moving on, and that is what it is. Okay, so. This has been actually a pretty. I mean, we've been active here, but this has been a relatively dead stream. So we'll probably do one more, and then we'll end if there's no like super chats or anything going on and people aren't really engaged. We'll end. We'll just make this one the last one. Okay. So next up we have Exo Manowar. Also, guys, y'all haven't done this in a while because y'all used to do it all the time, but y'all used to do super chat to add characters to the list that you wanted us to talk about, and that hasn't happened in a couple of weeks. I don't know if that's because we're having new people to the stream and they're not aware of it or what, but you can add characters to the list if you want to add characters to the list. That's like a big part of the fucking stream. Yeah, but that hasn't happened in I think it's been 3 tier lists and that hasn't happened. Which is surprising because it used to be like the main thing people would do is add characters to the list. Okay, Exo Manowar. Again, this is one of the ones where I'm going to say people probably don't know anything about it, and I'm the only one who knows anything about Exo Manowar.
I don't know this one.
You don't know this one? Okay, Exo Manowar is very cool. It's very unique. So the main character in Exo Manowar is a warrior from... I'm trying to remember. I don't think it was medieval. I think he's basically a caveman. Like, he's essentially a caveman. And he acquires this suit of armor that it was dropped for its alien technology that lands on Earth. And he finds a suit of armor, and he basically the armor basically does anything that he thinks of. So he can like produce weapons, he can create giant cannons, he can regenerate. It's sort of like Tony Stark's armor fused with a Green Lantern ring, fused with like a bunch of other. It fused with like the Venom suit. Like it's anything he wants it to be, it can be. He's a caveman, so his mind is very simple and limited. So he usually just like makes a sword and fights people with a sword, or like makes a big ass axe or something. He's not a caveman. He's like a barbarian, basically, like a barbarian warrior. And he then, like, the alien race that lost the suit wants to get the suit back. So he basically it's basically an old ancient fucking barbarian warrior who is forcefully thrown into a science fiction story where aliens are trying to get his super suit back. But he still acts like a fucking old school barbarian warrior that's like not aware of science or the modern world or the future world for that matter. Like this is way beyond him. But he just has like insanely awesome combat skills because he's like a really, really great warrior. And it goes into a bunch of different things. He eventually becomes like Lord King of like his own planet, and he gets married and has a queen, and then he has a son, and he accidentally kills his son, and then like there's like a whole thing. It's like a whole. It's kind of like it's like a sci-fi Odyssey sort of involving this regular soldier. Think Conan the Barbarian, and his whole story of he's a warrior, he fights and goes on all of these different adventures, and eventually he rises up to become king of the land. But with
after pushing a wheel like a slave.
Yeah, but with Exo Manowar, it's that same storyline. Only difference is it's he's got a super suit and it's in space and it's science fiction. That's kind of basically what it is. It's a pretty cool comic. It
sounds funny, honestly.
I enjoy it. It's a lot of fun. Yeah, it's unique. It's unique in the idea that he never really loses the fact that he's a barbarian warrior. Like, he gets more aware of the world as a whole, but he never really loses those barbarian warrior roots, and he still kind of behaves like a fucking barbarian, and it's kind of funny.
Yeah.
Wait, so was he a dude from just barbarian times and like given a spacesuit? Or
no, it crash lands on the planet, and he acquires.
No.
It. Yeah, and then it's just like a sci-fi universe where it's a barbarian that flies around in a giant suit that's, again, a combination of Iron Man's suit, the Venom symbiote, and the Green Lantern ring. If I had to compare it to anything, it's like all three of those things mashed up into one thing. It can basically do anything any of those three can do. It's just anything he can think of in the suit does that thing. And there's also like an AI in the suit that talks to him, and the suit like adapts to different situations, and it'll adapt to allow him to survive different situations. At one point, there's this like really horrible scene, good scene, but horrible for him, where he's on a planet, and basically the sun of the planet explodes. And it completely wipes all life on the planet up. And wait, hold up, my computer's dying. Give me a second. Plug it in real quick. There we go. Okay.
Gotta give it CPR.
Yeah, I got it. Okay, so and then the star explodes, and there's this giant wave of fire, and he's standing there with all these innocent people, and there's nothing he can do to save them. So there's this chick that he knows is one of the alien race that he got really close to, and he hugs her as she's like terrified, and this blast just hits the whole planet, wipes them all out, and then once the blast clears, he's just standing there holding this just like ashed woman who's just burnt to a crisp, and then she just like fades away in his arms, and there was nothing he could do to save her, but he's like totally fine. And it's like,
yeah, that is pretty tragic.
Yeah, there's like a lot of really cool, like it's good. There's a lot of cool scenes or stuff. I'm not gonna say it's like the greatest thing that I've ever read, but it is cool. It is cool. It is interesting. Like I would say it's not, for me, it wouldn't be like an A tier comic or an S tier comic, but it's a solid middle B tier comic. I enjoy it. I would probably put it in the upper echelons of all right. I wouldn't put it in great. Like I said, we should probably have something in between great and all right, but I don't want to keep adding tiers to the fucking list. So I would probably put it in the upper echelons of all right, not quite in great. I do think it's probably better. Like, I prefer the Darkness just because I've had way more experience with the Darkness than I have in Exo Manowar. I've easily read more issues, and it more so aligns with things that I personally like. I think that Exo Man of War is kind of it's a more common story than something like The Darkness. Like there isn't really that many stories like The Darkness. There are stories that are similar in ways to Exo Man of War. It's good, it's solid. I would say it's more solidly consistently good than The Darkness is, because The Darkness gets bafflingly insane at times where it's like, what the fuck are y'all doing? But I do think the entertainment value for The Darkness is probably higher for me than Exo Man of War. So I don't know. I mean, what do you think should go ahead? Something that I think is objectively higher quality, or something that I personally enjoy reading more because it's just a little more fun, and it just
Well,
like, I don't know. That's a hard one for me personally.
I would say, because I don't really know Exo Man of War, I would say just go based on your own personal preference. I mean, this is also just your list. We're just kind of advising.
No, it's not my list. It's a community built list. The thing is that when I give my arguments, you guys are basically like, yeah, no, I agree. But Liam's the only one that's really argued with me, and he argued about Superman. If it was my list, Superman wouldn't be in Great. Superman would be in fucking Gives You Cancer. No, it wouldn't. It wouldn't. It wouldn't be in Gives You Cancer. Honestly, if this was legitimately my list, all of the Marvel and DC characters would probably be in trash. All of them, except for maybe Batman. I might put him one above, or yeah. But like I think they would all be probably in trash to me. I really, really, really don't like Marvel, which is why I kind of get confused when not confused, but people baffle me when I'm I make a video that talks about Marvel or DC, and like half the chat is like, oh, he's a Marvel fanboy or he's a DC fanboy. No, I hate both of them. Like, I strongly hate both Marvel and DC. I am not a fanboy to either. I think they're bad stories, and I don't like that they've basically taken over the entire conversation of comics, and when anyone talks about comics, they think of Marvel and DC, when those are some of the worst comics that are written. Like Hellboy and sagas are so much better than anything that you can read in Marvel or DC, and those are not the stories that people think of when they think of comic books. They think of fucking Batman and X-Men and this shit, which is just not good. I just don't think these stories are good at all. They have moments where they're good, but they are not good as a whole. Add Hugh from Johnny Test for $2.
It's not a comic, though. Does it have a comic? I don't know.
Doesn't matter. I paid for it.
Well, it does matter. Well, no, it does.
Fair enough.
No, it does matter if we're about to end the stream. You're not prolonging the stream for $2. that's. I mean, that's.
You can't quickly slap the character onto the tier list.
Yeah, but then I gotta search it up on Google and copy it and bring it up, and it's like, oh man.
Wait, you heard of drag and drop?
Drag and drop? What's drag and drop?
Or you grab the image on Google and then just drop it wherever you want.
Is that a thing I can do?
Yeah, I mean, I do it on like Google Slides, like and stuff. But like, I don't know if it works here.
Johnny Test. I don't know why are you making me add Johnny?
Such a random character. I'm not even going to lie, Doug.
It was the last character I asked to be added to the list for a completely different joke, and he said when he brought up adding people, I just figured, fuck it, to add the last guy.
Well, I'm trying to do this. This is very difficult. You're making this very difficult for me. Because it's like two different windows. I have to like.
I swear, Doug should call him Doug the Inconvenience.
Nope, didn't work. Did not allow me to
Hmm.
drag and drop. You wasted my time.
Oh, that's a shame. Hey, it is a thing. I guess it's just not a thing for.
Wait, where's my
tier
There
list?
it is. I couldn't tell where my thing was. There, yeah. It's I could not drag and drop. It did not allow me. You cannot lengthen the length of this stream with $2. I'm afraid that is not enough for me to continue going. We won't talk about him, but maybe I'll just put him on real quick. What was it? Add Hugh to mythical. Wonderful.
Thanks, Tim Porky.
Wonderful. All right, let's see. Wait, hold up. I gotta go back.
My plan was to just start arguing for him to go into mythical, so this works.
This works. All right, Hugh from Johnny test. Fucking do this shit. Bullshit. All right, hold up. Almost there. You're making everyone wait for this. I hope you guys are proud of yourself.
Doug, come on,
proud
man.
of yourself.
I'm proud of nothing.
I don't even know what a lot of these pictures I'm looking at is. God damn it! Save the fucking picture. There we go. It has been saved.
Where did I end
What?
up?
What?
Thank you, Porky. I really appreciate that.
All right. Here we go. Boom.
Can I mine this?
There we go. It's coming up. It's coming up. It's coming up. Boop. There we go. All right, you get to go on. There you go. Mythical Hue. Are you happy?
Yippee! Totally happy about that.
Mythical Hue. Is Liam still here? Oh, there's people down here. Did they want to come up, or are they just like chilling down there? I don't even know.
I've been muting myself because I sound awful.
That's true. British people don't sound the best.
No, my accent's amazing. I'm just really sick.
Oh, of being British.
I feel like
unnecessarily being. I'm just being unnecessarily a dick to Liam's.
No.
Oh yeah, kind of a little bit. All right.
Yeah, fuck England, you know. We got moved up in a danger sense.
Well, Hugh is going as above Superman. How does that make you feel, Leah? Does that make you feel?
You know, hands might be traded someday. If I ever meet this Porky fellow.
It's not good.
Look out, Porky! You're gonna get stabbed by a British person.
Porky, you better watch your back tonight.
Yeah,
I think you're being targeted.
You know, long swords at dawn, Porky. Long swords at dawn.
Okay, I would shake.
What the hell is that?
He would shake your hand, man. Okay. Well, one thing I will do.
Before the duel.
Since it's basically kind of dying out now. Well, what tier because I never do this. I like to do this at the end of the streams, but the streams always end like super late, so I never actually do them. But what tier list would you guys like to have next week? I planned on ranking all the MCU movies on here.
I really think we should do MCU movies.
That's what I thought that would be really cool, but everyone voted for comics. So we ended up doing comics. That's what they voted for.
Wrong.
The most votes were for the comics, not the MCU movies.
So let's say that this
votes
isn't that
were
bad
for
idea.
not being here.
Wait, what's up?
The most votes were for not being here tonight.
Well, yeah, but that's understandable. I mean, there's 1,500 people in the stream. I mean, in the Discord. Most of them do not come to the streams. That's just is what it is. Jesus Christ, what is this? What is your opinion on Tyr from the Norse God of War games? Is he good or a bad character? I hate that. I'm biased. I can't answer that question. I am extremely biased against the Norse God of War games. I think they're bad, shitty games. I think that Tyr serves his purpose in the game. I mean, he's fine, I guess, but I fundamentally think it is a flawed written game just in general. Characters make bafflingly stupid decisions. The internal logic of the series doesn't make sense. The themes don't make sense. They've had to completely retcon Kratos as a character just to make that story make sense. They used Tyr in the Valhalla DLC to push those retcons considerably, which I wasn't a big fan of, but Tyr just kind of exists to me. I don't think he's neither good nor bad. He just does whatever job he needs to do.
Most of Tyr in that game is Odin.
What's up?
Yeah, it's not really most of the time.
Most of Tyr in that game is Odin.
That's true.
What?
That's true. Technically, that is true.
Unless he's talking about I don't know if it's DLC because it's free, but they added the part where you go to Valhalla.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Valhalla. That's what I'm talking about. Like he's essentially in that DLC. He's essentially used as a tool by which they use to push the retcons that they made of the previous games.
Really hard.
Super hard retcons. Yeah, it's unbelievable.
When he talks about he's like, you know, in the service of a cruel god, I was tricked into doing it. Bro, you were fucking murdering people willy-nilly. Don't be, you know, I was tricked. Yeah. You were happy to murder people.
No, yeah, I don't. Well, the idea,
family.
The series has been able to trick people, because I actually had an argument with Buster McTunder, which is another YouTube guy, and I actually had an argument with him. And he was telling me that, well, no, like they don't release Kratos from responsibility, because he still says that it is his fault, and they say in the I understand that they say in the game that he's still at fault. I understand that, but the entire concept of Tyr and the conversations that they have is to lessen his responsibility for them. Kratos still says that he is the one responsible. He still feels that he's the one responsible. But they only say that so that as a manipulation tactic, so that you like Kratos more, because Kratos is accepting himself or whatever. But the universe that he exists within is constantly giving excuses for the things that he did and trying to justify them by editing the history to make the history not like oh, he didn't go to war with the barbarians because he's a piece of shit that was warring and wanted to take over more shit for glory, like the first game said. No, in fact, what actually happened is that the barbarians, if he hadn't fought them, they would have destroyed all of Sparta. That was never in the original game. In the original game, he was specifically doing it for glory. They straight up say it. And Buster McTunder was disagreeing with me. He was arguing with me super hard about this. He's like, well, it could be both. But they don't bring it up in the new game. They repaint it. It's a retcon. They repaint it as something that he was doing for glory. And when Kratos was specifically asked like why he was doing it, he says it's because they would have destroyed Sparta. And they repaint it when the truth is there was a narration in the original game that straight up said he was doing it because he wanted power and glory. They completely retextualized it.
There's other things which really upset me about the game. Like there's a part where Odin talks about him like never being worshipped. I'm like, if you played the original games, every time you meet a Spartan, they're literally like, my lord Kratos. They literally call him God and Lord all the time. Like, he was super worshipped in the original trilogy.
I think I talked about this with you before, specifically. Like Odin tells him, because he says he was a god or whatever, and Odin's like, oh, whoever worshipped you, blah blah blah. Like, well, like where did you ever rule? He's like, yes, he was worshipped by the Spartans for decades. Like, we know this because of God of War 2. Like, the game actually forgot the history of Kratos so that they can repaint things for the way they wanted it here.
Also, I just want to add, like, I remember the very first game, and like what stuck out to me is that scene when you go into the Basilisk Mouse, or the Hydra, sorry, and like you go to save the captain, you very specifically, as Kratos, let him fall. Do not save him. You're there for like the key or something.
Yeah, there's no question that Kratos is a bad dude. There's no question about it. And the game tries to have its cake and eat it too. They try to simultaneously keep Kratos in that bad person position where he's like, oh yeah, he was kind of a bad guy, blah blah blah, while also justifying many of his actions. So it's giving you a mixed messaging. They don't keep his actions as bad as they actually were, and then have him like basically they have him accept responsibility for the things that happened, but only after the things that happened are reduced in severity by the retcons. Because I think they understand that you literally can't. The character that he was at the end of God of War 3 was never going to become the character that he was in the Norse games. They're totally different characters that were going on totally different paths. By the end of God of War 3, he literally destroys the entire world willingly, and he kills himself out of spite because he doesn't want Athena to get the power of hope. Like, it has nothing to do with him trying to help the people. And then in the Norse games, they try to repaint it to where he killed himself specifically because he wanted to give hope to the people, which literally seconds before he did that in God of War 3, he killed Zeus, which caused he killed all the gods, but Zeus, who he was straight up told was going to completely devastate the entire world. Also, it doesn't make sense. At the end of the game, he stabbed himself with a sword and gave the people hope. But yet in the Norse games, they straight up say that the reason why he doesn't have his magic is because his world is completely destroyed. Like, that's why he lost his magic, because the magic is tied to the land, and the land no longer there because he destroyed it all after he killed the gods. But yet they still say that he gave hope to the people. So did he destroy the world, or did he not destroy the world and he gave hope to the people who were left? Because if he didn't destroy the world and gave hope, then he should still have his magic based on the logic of the Norse games. If he did destroy the world, then he didn't give hope to the people, which we know he gave hope to the people because that's literally written into the end of the game. That's what happens. So it's like there's so many things in this game that just don't make any fucking sense. I don't get it. The way they paint Thor in God of War, the first God of War Norse game, is completely different than what when we actually meet him. The fact that like it's so weird. Kratos and Atreus together killed Thor's sons and Thor's wife's sons, and they seem totally cool by the end of the game, and they don't deserve it. They don't earn the forgiveness of this mother and her father. Like, it's so weird. They had to fight against Freya for years after they killed his son, which was totally justified, the killing of that son, which I also think is a part of bad writing. But then when when he kills multiple of the sons of the mother of Magni and Modi, she is like she's legitimately pissed at him, and then she just forgives him out of nowhere. They haven't even met yet, and she's just totally cool with it. It's like, why does everyone accept this? I'm so confused about like the characters do things for reasons that don't make sense to me. Having Atreus lead the final battle against Ragnarok, a 12-year-old child, is the stupidest thing. That, like, I don't understand why more people don't call that out as just straight up being dumb. Kratos
leads it.
No, he doesn't.
Isn't he the war general?
Yeah, but then he gives
it up to Atreus once they're actually there.
Oh, fuck!
Like,
I forgot they are retarded.
He sees people getting hurt, and he's like,
he's literally the most experienced war. Like,
oh, you lead now.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's probably the most experienced person at war in the entire like Norse universe.
Yeah, well, I don't know about necessarily Norse universe, but he is the most decorated Spartan general, and he became the god of war. So he's very clearly, he knows about war. They give him leadership of the army for a reason, and then halfway through he gives it to his 12-year-old son that doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about. Like, he doesn't know anything about war. Why would you give it to him? Like, there's just so many stupid things in this story. It's just, I really, really don't like the Norse games. And people always say that I don't like the Norse games because I'm biased towards the earlier games, and I don't like that they retcon changed it and it's a completely different game. No, I would dislike the Norse games either way. I'm not going to say that I don't dislike them more because of that, because of my attachment to the prior games. But there's no doubt that if you just look at the writing of the Norse games, it's bad without the existence of the previous games even being there. Like, it's just not good.
That's what you can't remove the previous games from the Norse games. It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, one thing that I always say about Kratos' character in the Norse games is the most interesting thing about the Norse version of Kratos is that he used to be the Greek version of Kratos. Like, that's literally the most interesting thing about him. And when the most interesting thing about him is that he used to be another character, the previous, obviously that means that you've lessened the quality of the character. Like that's I don't think that there's a better explanation for a better. Go ahead.
There's never a question, I think, if Kratos could beat the entire Norse pantheon. It's always will he go back into that god? And that's the only real interest through that whole game is.
Well, I think it's stupid. It doesn't make any sense because the gameplay conflicts with the story. Because he freaks out after he kills Heimdall, and he's like, oh no, and he's like, oh, he's like, oh my god, and even Mimir is looking at him as he kills Heimdall, and he's like, what have you done? Like, it's this whole thing, but I've killed like 200 fucking Vikings at this point in this game. Like, what do you mean? What, like, you've killed a lot of people? Yeah, it's like, I mean, what makes I feel like you're both just racists. Like you can kill 100 fucking humans, but then the moment you kill one god, now suddenly it's a horrifying thing.
Well, Kratos straight up says there are consequences to killing a god versus a person.
But he already did it. But he already did that when he killed Baldur in the previous game. He already killed Helios. That already set off Ragnarok. So I don't understand where the freaking out was, and he willingly did that. So I don't understand
They don't-
why he's freaking out when he did it to Heimdall.
Certain gods have higher consequences for killing them.
No,
I'm
not
guessing
the
it's
game never
completely-
says that. The game never comes to
Here's
that
the thing.
conclusion. He just
Like he kills Magni, and
He
nothing
kills-
happens. Like no one.
he killed
like,
he
it's just
killed
kinda
he
like, oh,
kills
something
he
bad
killed
might happen.
he in the first game he kills Magni, Atreus kills Modi, and then he kills Boulder. He has no issues
And
with
then he
doing that.
says-
And then he doesn't actually freak
after he
out
kills
until
Modi,
well, he has a little bit of he doesn't like Atreus killing Modi because he was unarmed and stuff. But for the most part, it didn't matter. And then somehow he freaks out after he kills Heimdall, even though Heimdall wanted to murder his son. Why? Like they're trying to push a non-violence peace message in a game called God of War, where you play a guy who brutally murders people with his bare hands. It doesn't make any sense. The message of this game directly conflicts with the story and the gameplay of this game. It's dumb. I would not turn Doom into an anti-violence game. That wouldn't make any sense. I don't know, like, God of War is probably the worst game you could possibly turn into a don't do violence message game. Like, I honestly couldn't think of a worse game to do that with. Only games that are equally as bad. Like, can you guys think of a worse game to give an anti-violence message than God of War? A game that was all
Doom.
about its massive amounts of violence? Jesus.
Doom.
I kind of put them on the same level. Like, it would be just as stupid either way. That would be
But
very,
I
very
think
good.
that a lot of games are very like revenge bad. That's just a lot of games now.
It's not
Violence
it's not
bad.
it's not as much as you think. I mean, it's God of War, it's Last of Us, but that's because God of War was a massive ripoff of Last of Us. Like, it was a massive ripoff of Last of Us.
Yeah.
Outside of that, I can't think of that many games that are like revenge bad. I'm sure there's other ones, but I can't think of them. Anyway, doesn't matter. This stream is basically winding down. Yeah, we're at 22 people, and it hasn't been very active. So yeah, we're gonna end it. Yeah, I don't know what's going on. The streams were really active for months and months and months, and then all of a sudden, like the last month and a half or so, it's been like super dead by comparison. I don't know if it's like a time of year situation. Maybe like less people do it during summer than they did before summer. I don't know, but it doesn't matter. I'm still gonna be doing them. We'll be here again next week with another tier list. I don't know. Maybe we'll do MCU, MCU movies. I kind of wanted to do them this weekend because Fantastic Four just came out, and I was like, oh, let's do all of them, including Fantastic Four, and we can end it off with Fantastic Four. But is what it is. Is what it is. So why is Johnny Test here? Because someone paid to have Johnny Test there. Just is. I don't.
I wonder who.
I wonder who did it. Okay, but probably because people are going back to school. Maybe I don't know. Well, no, because it was during summer. Like before summer, it was super good, and then like the last couple of months, it's been bad. I would say the last like really solid month that I had, for the stream specifically was probably June. I think it was probably June. It's been relatively dead since July, and I'm not really sure. Well, we're in August right now. Yeah, like everyone's still out of school for July, and before June it was really good too. It was good, February, all those months it was also really really good. So and those were all school months. So I don't know what this. I haven't figured out this whole YouTube thing, the whole algorithm thing. I don't understand why certain things happen at certain times of year and other. I don't know if YouTube is just not pushing it to people as much as it used to, or if it's just that like people are losing interest in the streams. I have no idea, and YouTube doesn't really tell me. I don't know, but it is what it is. We'll see. I guess we'll end it here. I actually have some. I would like to have a video come out Monday morning. I have it completely recorded, and I just started editing, but I'm going to try and do a little bit of editing tonight, not a ton, and then finish editing tomorrow, and hopefully it'll be out by Monday morning. So you look forward to that, and then I'll see you guys next week. Maybe we'll do a best MCU movies. But hey, if you guys, there's a community, there's the Discord, but there's also the community posts on YouTube, and you can go post there if y'all have better ideas for the stream rather than MCU. We do something else. You could do a debate stream, or we could do a different type of tier list or something else entirely. I don't care. You could go put it in the suggestion box in the Discord or put it in the community posts in YouTube. Up to you. So yeah, I'll see you guys next week and look forward to the video on Monday. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.
Yep.